Hello, everyone. Welcome to SmashBoxxTV's podcast number 143. I'm your host, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, along with Johnny V. Glad you guys could join us tonight. What's going on, Johnny?
What's going on in life in general?
Yeah, life in general. They want to know.
Got a haircut today.
Yes, you did.
I got all frustrated because downtown Milwaukee is completely torn up from head to toe. I couldn't get it. It's normally about a 2-minute drive. It took me almost 15 to 20 to get just over a mile because I had to cross a different bridge and everything was backed up and I was getting all frustrated. And then I went down one street that said it was open, but then there was a concrete truck just parked perpendicular mixing concrete, so I had to back all the way out. I was really frustrated today at lunch.
That's why I say we hire Icon Concrete to do all of Wisconsin's concrete needs. Steve, Bamba, Rico, Freddie, the boys. Let's get them here.
I would love that.
They couldn't handle. Everybody talks about how tough they are. They couldn't handle Wisconsin weather.
No.
Not the year-round weather.
No, considering it's almost mid-May and we're not even hitting the 60s. I'm getting a little frustrated that I'd love to be outside with, bring my kids outside to actually do something without having to bundle them all up at this point.
Well, here we are again, as you said, May 9th. Welcome, everyone. Podcast 143. Tonight's rundown, as best as we can tell, should include Dana Vichy. He's going to be joining us here momentarily. And then after him, we'll be catching up with Guy Buen, one of the co-owners of Mint Discs. And if you haven't heard or you don't know all the details, well, that's what we're here for. We'll bring Guy into the mix here. He's always been a huge Smashbox supporter and very, very. He's been very nice throughout the years in supporting what I've been doing with the Disc Golf Guy video blogs, what we've been doing at Smashbox. So when one of our beloved people out there goes out and does something aggressive, like starts up a new disc golf company, well, I think it makes sense to talk to them and find out what's going on. So excited to do that. Shortly after that, we may or may not be talking to Miles Parkhill. I know I kind of name drop him all the time regarding all the amazing stuff he does for us regarding printing and what he can do for clubs and organizations. Well, I'd love to hear it directly from him. And before we get any further with Dana or anyone else, I want to give a real quick update. Last week, it was almost exactly at this time that Carl Cubby, out on the East Coast, had fainted a few times, had some struggles out on the course through Mike Solt and a number of other people. We saw an update. I believe it came from one of his daughters today. Talked about it, showed that he was seemingly come to a little bit today. Sounds like things might be on the upswing for him. So we're still thinking about you, Cubby, and we wish you nothing but just the best in terms of recovery and health and everything that, our best wishes.
For sure.
A true Smashbox big hug for you, buddy, and hope to see you on the course and up and moving as quickly as possible. So, and apparently there's playoffs going on, hockey, basketball. We'll worry about that.
There's hockey
later.
and basketball going. Well, not technically basketball now because we're waiting for the finals. There's no playoffs right now.
The game's already over from tonight?
I don't think there was a game for tonight.
Oh, I thought there was one.
I thought last night the Warriors swept. The night before that, the Cavs had finished their sweep. So now they've got a couple days off before the finals, I think. But
something like that.
I have not watched a basketball game all year, other than the one I went to for the Bucks.
All right. Well, I think we can welcome I can't call him our favorite curly-haired friend with a beard from Illinois.
It's getting a little specific, but I'll take it.
He's not our.
Boom goes the dynamite.
Welcome, Dynamite.
I've had worse intros, but I'll take it.
Stick around till next week, buddy.
Yeah, we'll see.
I got to say another shout out. I know I'm going with some shout outs here tonight and call outs or whatever else, but Dan Harbeck, also a huge supporter of everything disc golf.
He is.
Especially as a Smashy and a Bevel beer supporter by consumption and otherwise. Dan is performing well in the pro poker tour of sorts. So best of luck to you, Dan. He can't compete in the event I'm running or that Dana's running this weekend, and he says he's going to be playing pro poker. So best of luck to you out there, Dan.
Go get them, Dan. Get rich.
I think people are right. People are telling me that it's not down to just the those two particular teams. That there is one more round before the finals, but we might as well just get it over with because it's going to be the Cavs and Cavs and the Warriors. But we'll see. Maybe the Wizards can pull it off. I forgot that they're whoever's in there.
I don't know. I think Isaiah Thomas and
I think Bill Laimbeer is going to have a nice.
Bill Laimbeer are going to go up against
with the
Pippen
worm.
and B.J. Armstrong and Craig Hodges. That's what I'm thinking.
I'm thinking it's going to be Tony Kukoc all the way.
I don't know about that.
You guys.
There's our only
Dana, we're throwing out Illinois references. I mean, come on. What more do you want?
I know. You guys, Milwaukee fans had to be Bulls fans back in the day.
Not me. I was a fan of Jordan, but that was about
T-Dog
it.
was wearing some Bulls gear. Tell us.
I was. Again, I've always been a
fair weather fan.
you
can say it.
large in part. I've been a Chicago fan. My aunt lives in Chicago. It was part of the reason why I was a Cubs fan. And the Bucks, just like the Brewers, never once did I hear my dad screaming at the TV or the radio in jubilation, all right, over the Bucks or the Brewers. Never. So I never had any reason to think either of those teams were good. And I'm calling out every one of you Emmer effing fair weather fans from the Brewers. I'm watching the Brewer game tonight. I don't know, it's not the best night in the world, and they're probably, I don't know how good Boston even is. I don't care. The point is there's like 12 people in the effing stands. Where are all those big Brewer fans that we've had for the last few years?
It's a Tuesday night.
Just saying.
Probably cold too.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Oh, actually, they got the retractable roof. So.
Yeah, we do.
It's gorgeous in there.
And the way that the Brewers stadium usually goes is that once school lets out, then all the attendance usually picks up.
Or until the Brewers have a marginally decent season, do people give a shit? Sorry.
Considering that I believe they're 500, they've got Thames who's just tearing it up. Our pitching is doing pretty well.
Yeah, good for them.
So it has nothing to do right now with being fair weather fans. It has to do with the fact that people have jobs and stuff, and it doesn't get out till 10:30.
So you're saying there's no other sold out stadiums?
Podcasts to do.
I'm not saying that.
I'm just saying that if you want to talk fair weather fans, I'll call it all of Milwaukee.
Not at all. Wisconsin is not known for having fair weather fans. Everything from the Brewers, the Bucks, to the Packers to.
So the only times when the games sell out that anybody would care about is when they're actually doing marginally decent. You don't call that fair weather.
No, during day games they sell out. During weekend games they sell out. They just don't. They don't sell out weekday night games, especially before school lets out. People have lives, dude. Anyway, Dana, we could talk about disc golf.
Well, I was going to say, I think we should take a SmashBox trip to maybe a Cubs Brewers game.
I've been to a few of them. Usually the Cubs fans are kind of assholes, but I ain't going to lie. They usually are. Because what happens is, we're going way down the rabbit hole here. They all bus in from Chicago area in like these giant, buses as they do. They all get blitzed beyond belief. And they're usually loud, rude, and I think I've been to 4 or 5 Cubs Brewer games, and I think all but one I've had a drink spilled on me by a Cubs fan.
Yeesh.
And very rarely do I get that from other Brewers fans. The Cardinals fans don't do it. They're just jerks. The Cubs fans are drunk and disorderly.
And I would be willing to venture or guess that for the Brewers fans that go down to Wrigley, which usually are not nearly in the same amount.
It's not the same amount because it's harder to get tickets to Wrigley, and there's usually not a big buses that tend to travel like that down to Wrigley because there's not the available seats. So so that's why you don't.
I think all rivalries have their jerks, though.
Oh, for sure, no doubt.
Anyway. Yeah, I think we should do a disc golf. Just a disc golf outing game with a bunch of disc golfers. Get us all together, go play a round of golf somewhere. I think you just stumbled on a great idea here, Dana. Let's put it together.
Hey, we could video it. Put a little.
I'm down.
I'm good with that.
I think that sounds like a great idea.
That'd be fun.
I'm in. Actually, Terry, I'm surprised how. I figured you would have lined up, some sort of disc golf outing at one of the Milwaukee fields or. arenas or.
It's funny you say that.
When can we expect that?
Speaking of the horrible Bucks, okay, sorry, not horrible this year. Sorry. Anyway,
or the fact that they made the playoffs 4 of the last 5 years. But continue to talk out of your ass because you don't know what you're talking about.
We talked to, I actually, especially thanks to our friends over at DD, who we've seen go into stadiums and Dallas and so on and so forth. I had reached out to a gentleman from the Bucks, and we talked about doing something indoors at the BMO Bradley's Harris Center or BMO Harris Center or whatever it's called, and the talks went 2 or 3 meetings deep, and then it kind of got nixed. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to see it happen inside that arena, although that would have been a lot of fun. Having something out at Miller Park would also be a lot of fun, especially because we have the dome and all those types of things. Like everything else, it just comes down to an absurd amount of money and probably some liabilities here or there. But Miller Park is obviously the perfect place to do it in the sense that there's a retractable dome, so no matter what the weather is, we could be guaranteed to be safe and dry inside. So
true.
Maybe someday, buddy. Maybe someday we'll make it work.
The problem is baseball stadiums, obviously, we want to do it usually during the summer, which is when baseball is the hottest. So arranging that is always a pain in the butt. But
Or Terry's lazy.
Or I'm just lazy.
Yeah,
I got nothing else going on.
Yes.
Dana, we'll have an editorial comment or question for you later about refunds on tournament entry fees, but that's another subject a little later. So what do you have from disc golf around the country with our Dynamite updates?
Around the country, man. We're talking around the world. We're going to start out in Finland. The boys from Power Grip, the Power Grip Pro Tour. I don't know if anyone caught any of their videos that they put out over the winter. Those Finns, they got an interesting sense of humor, but I enjoyed their videos. So hit them up, check them out on YouTube.
Do they have commentary? Is that why you say that, or just?
No, like they're making the Power Grip shop, I believe it is. Pro Shop was just making some funny little videos to get them through the Finnish winter.
Okay.
Give you a little insight on that Finnish humor. But anyways, Power Grip Pro Tour was in a town that I cannot even come close to pronouncing in Finland.
Okay.
But winning that tournament, Seppo Paju, first place. He won by a handful, 5 throws over Timo Nisanen. I assume we'll see both of those guys this weekend at the Disc Golf World Tour out at the Konopiste Open. I believe that's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday event, if memory serves. But beautiful course. Looking forward to the footage from there. But Seppo won, Timo 2, and then a bunch of guys, including Yale Store, tied for 3rd. On the women's side, Vanessa Van Dyken got herself a 2-throw victory over Henna Blamroos. But good shooting to both Vanessa and to Seppo, who are both going to be competing this weekend. And obviously hoping to ride that momentum over to Konopiste in the Czech Republic. I don't know. I haven't looked at the women's side over there at the Konopiste. How many they got? Have you guys taken a look at that?
I thought it was, I want to say 10 or 12 is what I saw.
Split the difference, and we're at 11.
Wow.
And Evelina Slonin is the highest rated at 936, with Katka Badova at 919, and then Vanessa being the top 3 rated. We've got 2. Vanessa is still considered an American. Still, we've got 2 Americans competing with Vanessa and Hannah Croak. Hannah's playing her first FPO event ever. So good luck to them, and then all of the other competitors.
Katka and her husband, who I had the pleasure of meeting here in Milwaukee last year. They came and visited. Awesome people, and so definitely best of luck to her. She's also left-handed, and there was a conversation about best lefty women in the game and so on. And she just, when she appeared and competes on the world level, on the world stage, not necessarily the world tour stage, but just the world stage in general, it's pretty amazing the skill she has, and I see her only getting better and moving up. So best of luck.
Yeah. So let's hop over here to the States, but not. Yeah, we'll hop to the United States before we go up to Canada. The 303 Open out in Denver, Colorado. 3-round event over 3 days. Had some pretty exciting golf going on. Some of our big names were out there. Big German Austin Turner, their tour made it out there. Nico, Joe Revere is there, but Joe lives obviously in Colorado. So a few big names made their stops heading west to the Masters Cup. But Jessica Weiss was also there, and Jessica actually tied for first with Michaela Thomas. Michaela lives in Fort Collins, Colorado, and Michaela actually beat Jessica in a playoff and held it on her home turf. So big shout out to Michaela. She shot some pretty good golf there. On the men's side, a name you might recognize or might not recognize finished up there at the top. I'm trying to remember what year he took down the Am Nationals. I am, of course, talking about Colton Montgomery. I believe he won. Yep, it was in 2014. He was the United States Amateur Disc Golf Champion, and he's currently a Discmania-sponsored player. And he is from Colorado and beat Joe Revere, which is in Colorado, which is a very tough thing to do, and then beat all those other names that I mentioned earlier. Nico ended up finishing in third, but Colton came out and shot a 1040 rated round and was beating he's beating most of the 1,000 rated players by 4 or 5 throws, although someone else, Joel Freeman, another Colorado local, had shot a 62, so it was a couple off his pace, but Colton actually kept up with a good throwing and held off a charging Joe Revere. They had a rain and lightning delay. I guess they were tied going into the delay, and Colton came out with the one-throw victory and got himself a little paycheck, $1,250. So not too bad of a weekend for Colton. But that was a pretty big field, 58 players. Obviously his biggest victory aside from winning the Am Nationals. So good shooting, Colton.
I'll just throw this one kind of randomly out there. Dana, what's bigger? Am Nationals victory or this A-tier event? What's bigger for your career?
Am Nationals.
Amnats.
Okay.
Amnats is a game changer. I mean, it's a major, it's a huge event, toboggan, it's a legendary course, epic, if you will. I say that's a bigger victory, but that's not to say that this isn't, a great showing for Colton and great to win an A-tier. But this wasn't like a 20 something person field. This was almost 60 and included multiple NT and major winners. With German Nico in the field, and then beating Joe Revere in Colorado is a tough thing to do. You can ask Eagle McMahon. You'd think Eagle is obviously he's one of the favorites when he plays events there, but Joe just dominates in Colorado. But yeah, Joe, we're actually seeing play some Masters events now. I don't know if you guys talked about it coming out of the GVO, but Joe is of Masters age, and we're going to see him hopping from Open to Masters depending on the field and depending on his health as well. It sounded like he had a little bit of an injury he was dealing with at the GVO.
Yeah, he would be one of my picks. If I had to take a slight dark horse to win Masters Worlds this year, it would be him. I mean, I'm not sure what Johnny McRae or Climo or Barry are doing, but those probably have to be your top 3 picks. But Joe Revere, he's got to be right there. And Shasta, of course, because we know how well Shasta played last year. But it's I mean, it's hard to bet against any of those three guys in Masters, but Joe Revere, I mean, he's the young gun in the Masters field. So,
well, I mean, and then Felberg. Too,
yeah,
he's another young master. I mean,
I always forget about Felberg.
But I mean, Joe's got. You've probably seen him play on some of the Central Coast videos. They've covered some events in Colorado that he's played in. Also, I think maybe Montana. But Joe can throw really far. He's got an incredible thumber. Like, there's a few guys in Colorado that just got amazing thumbers. Joe's one of those guys, and he's a teacher, so I imagine he's going to start ramping up here. We're going to see him out on the road. I believe he bought a Sprinter and has been working on that over the winter, getting that ready to take his family on the road, I believe, or at least play some more events. So we'll see if see what he can do, and I think it's all gonna hinge on him staying healthy. So I guess that comes with playing Masters. You got to consider that a little bit more than
when
20 something year olds.
Yeah, when you're 40 to 40 plus, we'll just say taking care of your body means a lot more than when you're 20 or 23 or 24, where you can kind of go out there, throw as hard as you want, play 2, 3, 4 rounds. When you hit 40, you get that warm-up round where you're walking through courses and you're looking at this hole, you're like, I got this hole. I don't need to throw this one. When it's just a bomber hole and you're just going to bomb one out there. That's one of those ones where you kind of walk up to about where you think you're going to throw, because you don't necessarily need to throw every hole. You've played long enough where you know the courses, you know what you can do. A 22-year-old is going to try to throw 4 shots on that hole and find out where he lands. So,
yeah, I'm not doing that anymore.
There are no easy money Steve Held, as we like to call him here in Wisconsin. Steve, one of those new guys in the fold of that Masters division, and everyone's so eager to get there because they think, I'm that new guy. I'm 39 or 40, and I'm just going to move right into that Masters division and whoop up on all those old guys, except for all those older guys have been beating you in Open for a lot of years, and they just are shifting. Dave Felberg's still going to beat you. Patrick Brown's still going to beat you. Joe Revere's still going to beat you. Just because you're freshly turned 39 or 40 or whatever it is as you move in there. It's no easy money, Steve Held. You keep that in mind.
Yeah. I had one more event I think I was going to talk about. We head up to Ontario, Canada. Christie Lake Spring Fling. It was an A-tier. 170 players. I can't imagine they had very nice weather because it wasn't all that nice of a weekend down here in the Midwest. So don't think they had the best spring weather up there. But on the women's side, Ragna went up and played some really solid golf. All her rounds were above 900. Coming off the winter and coming off the baby, that's some pretty good shooting for her. But she won the 6-person FPO field over Sandy Hendel, who finished in second place. On the men's side, it wasn't too much of a battle between Brad Schick and Martin Hendel, 2 names most people figured that they would see up top. But the main difference was Brad's second round. He shot a 46, which was a 1039 rated round, while Martin shot a 53, 966. Martin tried to make a go at it final round and beat Brad by 5, but ended up coming up 3 shots short of the victory. So good shooting for Brad. Terry, do you know if Brad, is he in that 100 win club?
I'm sorry. Brad Hammock, is that who you're talking about? Brad Schick. Just kidding.
Yeah. Did you always just tune out when I'm talking?
No, it's funny because I did think about the context for a second, who you were talking about, because I did tune out for a second. I was actually replying to someone on Facebook. Sorry. Brad Schick has to be in that 100 win club. I would just say that he is. Well, you could probably click on his name, right?
I knew the answer.
Oh, okay, I'm going to say that he is.
Those things where, if you read the show notes, you would have known that I was going to...
show notes. That implies preparation.
I'm going to guess that he's not in the 100 win club. I think
if he's not, he's at like 89.
I was going to say, I think he's under it. That's my guess, just barely.
Right, so Brad Schick, member since 1993, His current rating is 1,009.
Man, he doesn't play as
PDGA
much
number
as he used to.
7992. That's 7,992.
I'm gonna go 92.
He's got an asterisk next to his career wins. That doesn't mean steroids. That means he has wins before that they were counting them, or he was playing before they were all the PDGA events were uploaded into the server. But he's got 135.
Wow.
Boom.
Okay.
Okay.
So Johnny, you're wrong.
I took
You're wrong, Johnny.
I am. I tried to just take the opposite of what Terry said. So
We know where that gets you.
usually correct.
I don't know about that.
But he's got I don't know. I hope the IRS is not listening, but he's got over 100,000 in winnings in his career. $118,903.41. I don't know what TDs are paying out change, but it's all added up.
That comes from the conversion rates. I'll bet you money that comes from the conversion rates. Maybe when you play a lot in Canada, or like yourself or me, when you cash in Japan, sometimes at least when the conversion rates get put in and then get officially documented, maybe that carries over. That's just a guess.
Oh, that's a pretty good guess. But this looks like it's Brad's. I don't know. He's won a few tournaments already this year, so no surprise. Maybe before it's all said and done, it's going to be tough for him to get to 200. I don't see that happening. But
until he gets the master now. No, he'd be kind of one of your ultimate sleeper trivia questions when you're naming off 100-win players, and I know we've kind of done that on the show and formally or informally. Brad Schick is just that. Definitely, I guess you could probably put him in a similar category to like a Chris Herron, somebody who can go out and play and perform very well on a national level, and in his heyday was way up there, hanging with all of the best, even besting them. And then more likely, due to job and other functions, stays a little bit more local, and then when he's on the local scene, almost impossible to beat, when he's playing well. And so would you say that's a fair analogy?
Yeah, I hit that perfect spot for a little bit when I was coming home from traveling and winning tournaments. It didn't last long.
Winning tournament is what you said. I think is what you said.
No, I had a couple nice stretches where I won some events here in the Illinois area. So,
have you won any tournaments I've run, Dana?
2007 Greater Milwaukee Open in advanced. Come on, man.
Okay.
Coming up on that 10-year anniversary.
I know, but then you fell about 7 or 8 spots when it counted on those same courses a few months later at the World Championships that I hosted here in 27 along.
That
with
is
the rest
true. I finished right outside the top 10, I think.
Okay. You peaked a little early that year.
You know what I did? I actually got onto the lead card after a really hot round at the Ghetto course, Deneen, which I had an ace. I think I shot an 11 down. And then I was on the lead card and shot just a god-awful round. And didn't snip the lead card again. So that kind of sucked because I worked pretty hard that summer.
You got out Schwartzed, bro.
Yeah.
Everybody did.
Everybody did. All right, Dana. Do you got anything else for us? We're going to be catching up with Guy. Do you have any stories about Guy? I know he's been a huge supporter. I think he's been known back in the day to have some rubber connections, possibly. But
super group Guy. That's what I call him, and that's because Vibram Open years ago when they'd have the quote unquote super group, Guy found himself. He got into the tournament late, I believe, and someone didn't show up. It might have been Sprague, and Guy ended up. Was that a live round?
I know now that you're talking about it, it is starting to.
Yeah, he had a big putt on like 13, I think it is. You'll have to ask him what hole, but it was. I've always called him super group Guy from there, but yeah, and he is a rubber lover, but it sounds like these days he's got some other things going on where he might be chucking some plastic, actually making plastic. But I'll let him tell you guys and everybody about that. But good guy, and I hope everybody supports him, and I wish him luck.
Awesome.
Mint discs.
And before I cut you loose, I'm going to talk a little bit more a little later about the event I'm running this weekend, the Greater Milwaukee Open. Just a few spots left in the amateur divisions. You yourself also running a PDJ B tier, the Swinging Bridge Open. You've got a dozen or 24 spots available still for over in Pontiac, Illinois. Is that it?
You're right a little. I am running an event this weekend. It is a C tier, but it's
tier.
got B tier value for the AMs. It's a player pack only event. My guy Miles over at Paragon, I think you were talking about him earlier, but he helped me put together a pretty sweet player pack along with Discmania. So all AM players are getting a custom umbrella, a Paragon umbrella, a Discmania disc. Terry, you helped me out with the sports sacks. We got a SmashBoxxTV sports sack. Pretty cool. We got a pint glass and a koozie. And then I think everything's coming in a bag from Paragon. Not a disc golf bag, but more of a tote bag. Something you might use at your grocery store. I hope everybody uses reusable bags.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big segment last night on the news about plastic bags. How it's illegal in Wisconsin for local communities to ban them or even make you charge extra for them.
Really?
It has to be a statewide thing that was done back in like 2009. They kind of apparently slipped this in with like 50 other things they signed that day. That was obviously heavily supported by the grocers industry and stuff like that. But because they're saying that a lot of places are having such big issues with them right now. So as everywhere in the world is, I'm sure.
I just feed those things to the seagulls.
I know.
They go just fine.
I give them to turtles in ponds.
So you're getting a reusable, repurposed bag there, which is awesome, along with all the other goodies. So if they want to sign up, please go to iregisteredonline.com. Do not send Dana a message and say, hey, man, can I just, show up that day and, maybe give you cash? Or if I give you, a check, could you, not cash it till Tuesday and, hold my spot?
Do you take Bitcoin?
That would be... At least if somebody truly offered it, I think that would be more practical than some of the other stuff that tournament directors like Dana and myself frequently hear. So do the responsible thing. Get signed up. Be committed to the event. Dana's going to put on a good show. And get committed. That's one less thing that everyone has to deal with come registration day, is any kind of handling of money and all that other goofing around. We're past those days.
Way past them.
That's right. Way past.
Way past. All right, Dana. We appreciate it. We appreciate the insight. Well, next week we'll talk about some of your results from your event, from my event, from that other little event in the Czech Republic, and
all of them.
We'll be able to go from there. You got anything to close us out with here tonight, buddy, before we let you go?
I'm sure I've got all kinds of exciting things that I forgot to say or talk about, or snarky remarks that I was going to say to you. So I guess we're just going to have to end it on this cordial note. I hope you guys have a nice evening, and thanks everybody for tuning in.
All right, buddy. Have a great night.
Shout out to Shasta. What up, Shasta?
What up?
What up? All right, good night, buddy. Again, Dana Vichy, giving us some updates from around the country, and looking forward to next week. Again, we'll have a little bit of international, a little more international flair as the Disc Golf World Tour, of course, moves over to the Czech Republic.
The Konopiste Open.
As we talk about, some people may or may not have seen a few of the recent posts by our current and reigning world champion Ricky Wysocki. Did you see any of his food?
I have not. No.
Okay,
I don't know if I'm friends with Ricky on Facebook.
Yeah, he blocked you.
Probably.
So Ricky made a post the other day saying, "Hey, I'm here in the Czech Republic. I've got to embrace the culture. I want to take it in when I travel around as a professional golfer." And he said, somebody ordered something the other day. I was enjoying it. Things were going just fine. I kind of asked exactly what it was, and it was some kind of pig's blood soup of some sort. They talked about some of the other things that were in it. Sounded less than appealing to me personally. And then he made a post, I think a day or so later, or also maybe within that same post, he posted what looks kind of like, dare I say, almost like a pork chop-ish looking thing. And then he went on to, okay, I'm sorry, this was all within the same post, but then he went on to say, today when he was eating, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce it, it's spelled Tlacenka, to Lysenka, or pigskin, bone, and feet ground up with leftover fat wrapped in gelatin. The texture was unlike anything I've ever eaten. If I had to pick, I would say it's like chewing on a piece of super tough steak fat with the sliminess of the slimiest sushi you could imagine. And he says, can I now say that I not only visited the Czech Republic, but I also conquered the culture?
Yeah. When we were at the Japan Open, there were some things there that I saw that I wouldn't touch. I tried a couple new things, but for the most part, there were one or two things that some of the fish delicacies, we'll say, were not of my flavor and turned my stomach when seeing it. But that does not sound appetizing, much like some of the stuff in Japan.
Yeah. Well, again, I give him credit. Again, all these world travelers and international players, and please take in as much as you can, experience the world. And I give him a lot of credit. I think I might lose a few pounds, though, if I traveled, if I knew what was in it. It sounds like he didn't necessarily know what was going on at first, but good on him for his for his traveling taste and choice. And thinking about travels and having minty fresh breath, I think I'm going to be opening a package here in a few moments. But first, let's welcome the co-owner of Mint Disc, Guy Buen. Guy, how are we doing tonight, buddy?
Doing well. How are y'all?
We are doing well. You're like so many of our hardworking entrepreneurs. You're busting it at your full-time night job, and thank you for stepping aside to join us here tonight. Tell us about Mint Disc and what's going on.
We just launched. I have two business partners, Zach Jansen and Chris Herbert.
Okay.
You might know the name Chris Herbert. He's a co-owner of Bearded Brothers Snack Food Bars.
Oh, okay.
They do a lot of great things for disc golf. If you haven't checked them out, check them out. They're great. My other partner, Zach Jansen, ran the warehouse at Disc Nation for years. In my opinion, he kind of gave rise to the double and triple foil stamping procedures that are happening nowadays.
Okay.
He did Chains for Brains, all the original stuff that happened through there for about 7 years.
Okay, so you teamed up with a couple of great guys, and you've had a love for disc golf. At what point were you guys like, oh yeah, let's just take on like this multi-million-dollar concept of making them ourselves?
I think both of you have felt this. I think every disc golfer has felt this, where you want to do it. We just recently had a launch party at Disc Nation this past Saturday. It was a very large success, but had over 100 people come out. But something I talked about in our demo and clinic was taking that step. Any of you disc golfers out there, any people out there, if you want to do something, do it. That's all it takes is that next step. But we talked about it for a while, and it's funny because Chris Herbert, was kind of the business side of everything. Just goes, let's do it. Let's do it. And we looked into it. Here we are 2 years later, and I think we have an amazing product, and we'll continue.
So from decision to, we'll say, molding, 2 years? That's about the timetable it took you?
It could have been less. We really did a lot of work with the art. The art took us a long time, and it wasn't capturing what we wanted. It was more conveying what we wanted.
Okay.
So with that, you so generously, you were super excited, as you should be, talking about your product or letting me know that was out there. Some people say I have a big mouth. I don't know, and then they send me stuff. But you had sent over something. I think this was while we were at Glass Blown Open, and I somehow managed to not open it, which I'm, like a kid on Christmas. I'm just chomping at the bit usually to open every single package. But I thought it would be cool to kind of have a little bit of a SmashBox exclusive here to see what you've packaged up and sent to me, because I have not seen these, and then I'll have you kind of break it down and tell everyone what exactly it is that we're looking at. I'm sure you sent me all appropriate, TV appropriate, video appropriate stamps. Here,
actually, as you open it, I'll kind of walk you through it.
Please do. So this is This is USPS. This is priority mail. That's a good call. All right. On a serious note, what do we have here? As I put this one up with a sticker on the bottom that says 171 grams. But what do we have here?
So you're looking at our Sublime plastic. This plastic will be a special plastic for us. We won't run a lot of numbers. If you would like a custom stamp on our second run, you can contact us on our website, mintdisc.com, through our wholesale page, and get a hold of Zach at Mint Discs, and find out about getting a custom stamp on our second run, which will only be featured on the Sublime plastic. Now, the Sublime plastic, it's going to have a metallic look to it. Some of it will have sparkles in it, glitter look. We ran 2 colors essentially on the first run, a blue-green and a gold. The gold got more sparkle in it, and the blue-green got more of that metallic kind of lava look you see from Latitude's gold plastic.
Okay.
Kind of like the shimmer from Innova. We did 3 plastics. We have, I believe I sent you a white one, correct?
You do, which I could go right to next.
You don't got to jump into it. We can
Okay,
still
go
talk
ahead.
about
Yep,
it
I got a white
if
one
you
here. Yep, which is
So this is the Alpha. Am I correct in saying that?
Correct. Yes. So our first disc is the Alpha. It is a power fairway released in 3 plastics called Sublime, Eternal, and Apex. The Alpha is a power fairway.
And what do you mean by that? That's kind of a newer phrasing.
It has a couple parts to it. So, as people that have worked in the biz for a while, we did not want to call it a driver. So for our fairway discs, you'll see fairway is the second word.
Sure.
We put power on it, so you know not to just throw it with a fan grip or just lay it out. If you throw it with a little power on it is when you're going to get the most work out of this disc. This disc is very controllable. You can throw every shot. You can throw sidearm, backhand. Rollers are amazing. Overhand shots are great. It's kicking a lot of discs out of people's bags here in Texas. I mean, we're already in a couple states, but in Texas you see the major growth. You know, as we are from Texas, you should see that first. People are comparing it to a lot of other fairway discs, such as the PD, Thunderbird, things like that. The Apex plastic is our opaque plastic. Can't see through it. Has a little bit more dome on it. We wanted a little bit more dome on that type of plastic, so when it beats in, it'll beat into a good spot, not beat in and then overbeat in, and then it's time to grab another one. People that sidearm are loving the Apex plastic. It's the one I kind of recommend for people that throw sidearm to use.
That is really poppy, as I saw from Terry. It's clearly more domey than your Sublime plastic.
Yes, and if you look at the last plastic, it's probably our flattest, the Eternal, which will be your clear plastic, meant for more durability and a longer life. Whereas, you know, the Apex, you're looking for a little bit more grip and a little bit more wear out of that disc. The Eternal Blue probably came out the straightest of all our discs. It's my personal favorite. Very nice disc.
Now, when it's so hard, and this is going to be nothing new, and I know you should already be accustomed to it, fair or not. Immediately, everyone wants to know, okay, well, what is it like? What does it fly like? And I can feel it. I can feel the rim.
I was just going to say, I like the size of the rim on this. I don't usually lately we've been seeing a lot of really big rimmed drivers that I'm personally not a fan of, even though I have really big hands.
Which we want to stay away from as well.
But this fits, preferably, this fits in my hand really nicely. And I'm not a paid advertisement, but I'm just saying, just the way it does feel in my hand, it feels pretty nice. So
we've had that compliment. Another compliment we've had with that disc is how far it goes and how fast it is. We rate it at 8402, but people are throwing this disc over 400, which is impressive and in our eyes, for a fairway disc.
Yeah.
Now, so maybe you just hit on a really good point. It seems as if the industry, dare I use the term standard, has become kind of the quadrant, the four numbers. We see very few companies that are not doing it in that kind of scale or that setup. Discraft, I think, being the one major one that I can think of. They kind of just give you one number in terms of their overall stability. You're finding yourself, I'm sorry, repeat those. You said 8402. Is that what you said?
Yes, and, we're using that system because it's like English, for air traffic controllers. It's a universal language.
Okay.
We thought long and hard about how to do it, and it was a real strong decision for us to just kind of go ahead and associate it that way. We hate telling people, oh, it flies like this, it flies like that, because it doesn't fly like any other disc. It flies like its own disc. It's a force to be reckoned with. It really is. I really suggest you grab one of these or test one from one of your friends.
Or pick one up from the disc golf guy.
All right, got two of them. I got two of them right here. Thanks.
No. So this is the very first mold. Again, I've had the honor or pleasure of visiting some of the other places in disc golf. DGA's factory, Legacy's factory, Innova's factory, all some of these other really cool places, and I've seen discs either molded or some of that process. This is no small undertaking whatsoever. So one of the very first questions has to be, where are you getting these made? And I don't need an exact address. I'm saying, are you guys working with a molder yourself? Do you own your own machine? That kind of stuff. Because there was always a lot of rumor that ran around when, for instance, Legacy was kind of newer on the block, 2011. Some people were saying, oh, Innova's molding their disc, or so and so is molding their disc for them, and that was never true. But some people will, of course, ask the same questions of how you guys are going about it.
Two answers. I like to say made in the USA.
Okay.
Top secret.
And top secret. Okay.
All right.
Fair enough.
The thing of it is
I'm going to smell the plastics.
To one person, I say to another, they're going to start approaching people. It's just not really business.
Okay.
That's fine. Yeah.
I'm good with that. I don't feel like you owe it to me. I mean, if you were getting it made by...
I just that's how I want to deliver it and say it.
That sounds good to me. A lot of people, like I said, I think we all know the disc golf rumor mill can run wild like all other rumor mills. But it's interesting to see the collaborations that sometimes take place, the plastic sharing, the knowledge. I guess that was question number 2 really is, where's the inspiration and or knowledge come from? You think of the mad scientists and that Dave Dunapace has been called for years, and the trial and error that we've seen out of the Dave McCormicks and all our manufacturers, Legacy and all these great manufacturers. Where does the science come from and inspiration come from for you guys?
So it's really neat to look at our website and see what we've written there about ourselves. We wanted things to be done the right way. I come from a manufacturing background. My grandfather made tools. My dad has hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of just hand tools. By no means does he have any money. He's just the guy that's always worked with his hands. Same with me. I went to school doing manufacturing drafting, mechanical drafting, studied architecture a little. When I found disc golf,
join the club.
Right. When I found disc golf, it just kind of took my world over. Started studying discs. In like 2007, I had 5 different bags, different manufacturers. I guess that was the only 5 at that time. I have 10 right now. It's ridiculous. But, we're really big disc nerds. We like to study them. We like to know everything about them, the history. You'll see I'm on a lot of collector pages. I know a lot of collectors. Something we did that kind of illustrates how we are and how we do things is what you will see on all of our discs, except for the Sublime, which are custom stamps, is the serial number. If if you both look at the discs in front of you, they both have a serial number on them. You've seen this in the past, just to kind of touch on it with other companies. We took it to the next level. So each disc will say the abbreviation of plastic, the mold abbreviation, the run number, and the year. So your favorite orange eternal, alpha, it was a first run because you've seen that serial number every time you pick it up to throw it. You can go on our website, look up our database if you're not aware of where it is in the spectrum, and find it, and then go out and find what you need. The Sublime plastic with the custom stamps and all, we'll have that on the database as well. What you see on the Sublime now is our Big OG Wolf stamp. Our artist Ian Friend out of Columbus, Ohio, did all our artwork. He came up with the there's the serial number.
Yep. I'll say that's really clever because we have so many times that people like myself that, I kind of started falling out of golf a little bit once all these manufacturers started ramping up. And now you hear about all these different makes and molds and rings and stamps and how many chains there are. And I can't keep track of that as far as what year, what run. With something like this makes it a lot easier, A, for a collector, and B, for someone that just
common person that's not a real disc golfer or a casual that just walks in a store.
Yep.
So we put the knowledge in your hands.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Sounds
I really
like
do
that was thought out. So dare I ask? I mean, I look at it and I think that's great, but immediately the flip side of that, or maybe the slight downside, is that's a different stamp. That somehow is a different, hot stamp or whatever. If you go to run 2 or run in year, of course you might. You're going to have to update that every single time unless your stamping's done differently. Hold on.
No, you're correct. We are updating it every single time.
Wow, that's really impressive. That's also putting a lot of additional effort on you guys, which, like you said, if you're going the extra mile.
Do things or want to do things the right way, there's only one way to go about it, the right way.
I agree.
That's great. That really is.
Smashbox says we
simple,
just show up.
I mean,
yeah.
the stamps, they're real simple, but they're clean. And that was something that we really strived for. Something different that catches the eye, but clean. Not too much. Not tacky.
Okay, so let's I'll go the next step when it comes to again, you've got plastic type, the next two are disc name, then run, and then year made. What will you guys constitute as a run? Because that could be the next debatable question that comes about. Will that vary by mold? Will that vary by plastic? What will you guys generally constitute as a run?
So we have the second run in the works right now, and each mold, alpha being one mold, will have its runs going in order. So the second run of alpha will have the 2 in place of the 1 right there.
Okay, but I'm saying how many? How many?
Or what do you what ends? For me, I was thinking like what ends a run? Is it is it like, we ran out of the plastic for this batch and we're going into a new, like, even though everyone might think it's it's the same plastic, maybe it's a couple weeks later, as everyone says, different humidity, different time of year, different whatever. How do you constitute a run?
We did 2250 in the first run.
Okay.
This info will all be put on our website on a database. That's another thing we're doing with the website. We're going to keep it in a different form. I don't know if you guys have seen it or talked to anyone about interacting with us, but we're being very public as owners and as a company and being very responsive. We didn't think that when a company kind of has an owner or a head honcho or whatever it is, a boss, that they don't ever show their face or are willing to reach out. I like to be that person. I like it to be where when they order a disc and we send them a response, hey, here's your tracking number, they're like, oh, that's cool, you have an automated response. And then I text back and go, thank you, John, that's really nice of you. It kind of blows their mind. But that's the customer service we're willing to have. Because my business partner ran the warehouse at Disc Nation for 7 years, We know how to pack things correctly. We know how to do it professionally. And same goes with the other things we're doing there.
Okay. Well, yeah, it sounds like you're putting I just hope that as you guys continue to grow, these extra fine details are awesome. I worry for you, and I hope it's a problem you have to face, is scaling those. When you're pushing out a couple 100,000 discs, obviously a lot of these things are just going to grow and expand in terms of what you need to do. And I hope you have to cross that bridge and you get to having those problems.
Oh, we are plenty aware. I to get into it, I wanted to list every single weight individually of every single disc. My business partner shot me down and said I'm insane for that kind of work that I'm willing to put into it. But I went through and weighed the 2250 3 times individually, every single disc by myself. I mean, that's kind of how we're going to run things. Our business model is kind of based around like what we saw with Westside in their early days, how they would slowly release a disc, not overdo it. That's kind of the business model we're looking at doing. We don't want to pump out a bunch of discs that you're not going to throw. Once you two throw that alpha, you will realize how many shots you can use it for and kind of the direction we're going.
I was going to say, if you make a disc that does everything, you're going to be in trouble because then you won't need to make more discs. No, it sounds like it's very versatile, which is awesome. So, of course, on the board, and I'm sure clearly you guys have thought about it, but give us the next, we'll say 2 or 3 molds in the order that you plan to release, whether they're putters, mid-ranges, whatever. What's next on the agenda?
Info we're going to release right now is that we're working on the second run of alpha. In different colors, all different colors on each plastic. We don't want to talk about the second disc yet.
Okay. Is it called The Secret? Hey-oh.
No, I'm guessing the beta.
Ooh. I'd go with second run because it's the second run. No. Second no, I don't know.
I'm going beta.
All right. So PDGA approved.
Or maybe the bet. You get the alpha and then the bet.
Okay. So
Come on.
Stop. No, that's so dumb.
I know.
PDGA approved. Can people get their hands on them? Can they be throwing them in big tournaments? Answer all those kinds of questions.
Believe they were approved in January.
Okay, so it's been a while. And people right now, of course, you have them on the website, and then you're working with regional distributors. I'm assuming myself will have to get on that train as I like to carry discs. Is that kind of your plan? I'll be the first to admit, before you even answer that, I'll be the first to admit, as new companies come out, it's easy for me to be critical of how they kind of unfold in terms of retailers and distributors and all those types of things. What exactly is the plan you guys are going with? So I can
Again, my business partner ran the warehouse at Dish Nation for 7 years. We've already been through all this for years and know all the right steps and who to contact and have and are. For a company that's only been released almost 3 weeks, we're doing very well, is something I'd like to say.
Awesome. What would you say has been the biggest surprise for you? Good, bad, or indifferent? What's been the biggest surprise thus far?
I haven't heard a single negative comment.
So that's your surprise? No, I'm just kidding. Is that really? I mean, that's obviously success, but is that what you'd say is the most surprising thing that you've experienced in this process?
It is, because it's not a surprise as in bad. A surprise can be really good for you.
Sure.
And we just, not we, but just looking at it, anytime you do anything, there's going to be people that are going to, chastise you. No, nah,
not us. We do everything. We do everything perfectly here at SmashBoxx. Yes. So as you're saying, there certainly can be the haters or the naysayers, or
there are. And the thing with this disc is the reason I say that is just the overwhelming response of how much people really enjoy it. I knew we put out a great disc, but 2 of us play in the open division, and One of us throws over 500 feet. We didn't test outside of house. I think y'all know I'm a big Vibram collector. I loved Vibram for years. Something that I saw them do for years, not to chastise or talk bad about someone, but all their testers were just different people around the country, not really experienced players. So it was real interesting for us to test this disc out ourselves, love it, create it, put it in the market, and then see people that don't have our arm speed or our power with a power fairway be very successful with it. What I'm seeing is people that don't like to throw it on backhand love it on sidearm. So, I mean, I think it's a win-win either way.
Okay. Of course, being a newer, fresher company here, you're probably getting bombarded, whether you're in position or not. You're probably getting bombarded with giveaways or sponsorship and all of that stuff, whether it's for a team of players or whether it's sponsorship for a tournament that I'm running this weekend or anything. But seriously, how are you guys handling some of those requests that I'm sure are coming in right now or will be after the show?
We're just trying to handle the beast. I think you might have seen, you've been pretty busy, Terry. We had a baby on the 21st.
I did see that. Congratulations.
Very nice.
Thank you.
You married up, too. Nice job.
I mixed that up. The first baby was mint discs on the 21st, and then we had our baby on the 27th.
I was going to say more recently. When you said 21st, even that sounded like too long ago, but okay.
So my beautiful and loving and amazing wife is someone to really thank through all this, but we've just been working on this night and day. I manage a restaurant downtown Austin. You know, I come in around 4 or 5 every day, and I'm here till midnight. Then I go home and I start packing orders. Try and slip into bed, wake up, you know, to the baby early. So I'm burning the candle at both ends, but that's why you have business partners, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly.
So when I can't step up, they're stepping up, and we're really doing very well. It's pretty neat, the response we're getting. As far as a team situation, we have a couple sponsored players already, mostly local Texas people that will represent us in the right way, people that should have been picked up years ago. As far as giveaways, you know, I'm a really nice guy, and we've been giving away some things.
Awesome.
That's kind of wrapping up right now. Sales are starting to kind of push so hard where we can't really give giveaways anymore, but I think we sent one to you guys to maybe give away, right?
Yeah, certainly. No, one of these had a sticker and said
giveaway to John
giveaway
and Terry.
Exclusively.
Oh, nice.
do a 2-man giveaway between you and Johnny. No, certainly we'll be giving one away. This says Smashbox giveaway, and you got it right with 2 X's, so props there. It says one Sublime Sea Foam blue green. With the big OG Wolf stamp. So yes, we will be giving this away tonight in some capacity somehow. Maybe you and I will chat shortly after we wrap up. You and I can chat about a solid question or something that they can answer, and we'll find some good way to give it away for sure. So thank you for that.
If I may say something real quick,
Yeah,
we're doing a 15% promo code through tomorrow.
Okay.
In honor of being on Smashbox and the opportunity. We really appreciate it. And it's going to be Mintbox with 2 X's.
There it is. I love
Capital M.
Capital M and then Intbox. So MINTBOXX.
Awesome.
With a capital M. That gives you 15% off on
your entire order.
Your entire order on mintdiscs.com. So go check it out, mintdiscs.com. And you can
and I believe
read
we
up
have
more.
Shirts, stickers, towels, some merchant up on the website now.
Awesome, very cool. So, dare I ask, is there anything else you need to share with us? Any stone we didn't we left unturned? I think is that how that phrase goes? More eloquently than that.
We're going to be running something really interesting with us. Is we're going to be running a lot of clinics, demos. Because my business partner throws very far and has very good technique. He actually does lessons in town here. So we're going to be taking clinics, places, doing demos. We're actually going to be running tournaments. We are running a tournament out at Moody's Disc Golf Ranch in Red Rock, Texas, June 10th and 11th. We're going to do 1 day of singles, 1 day of doubles, and a putting contest as well. Think that's pretty much everything I have to say. We really appreciate all the support that we've been given already. Thank you, everyone.
Well, that's awesome. I can only fathom what you're going through. Again, yeah, not only having the company,
Father, I know.
yeah, with the
and the
big
kid
release,
and
and then a very, very fresh youngster, as in less than 2 weeks old, and then trying to do everything you're doing while also going in and working at night in another full-time position. So definitely our hats off to you, because we know that you're grinding hard and you're working hard, and truly everyone in disc golf that's trying to find any successful way to move forward is working hard like that.
For sure.
And we're good friends with
Grow the sport.
Steve and Bomberico. We see what they do. We see what where they started, and it looks like you're off to a great start.
Thank you. Yes, and I cannot wait for people to see what else we're going to do.
All right, buddy. So give us the Smashbox exclusive. When is the proposed or target hit date for the second disc to drop? Give us like a month time frame ish.
It would be nice to have them by the end of the year. Again, we're not trying to push out discs. We're trying to make quality products the right way and make people just really happy. The sport's growing. We're at like 96,611 people as members now.
You got in under that 100,000. That was good.
We all have to grow it together and, support everyone. Support your locals. Support disc golf.
All right, man. Well, we'll look forward to it. I'm going to hold you to it. October 1st, we expect it.
But when you do, feel free to join us. Let us know what's coming up down the pipe, on the future.
Yes, for sure.
It's been a long-time watcher. It's nice to finally be on the show.
Well, it's
awesome.
Keep doing great things, and we'll keep talking about you guys. And thank you for the giveaway. Again, you and I will chat offline here in a moment to figure out some clever way to have this particular disc, this actual disc, given away. And again, thanks for the contribution to Smashbox and to our wonderful viewers and listeners out there. So, Guy, we're going to cut you loose. Thanks for joining us. We wish you the best of luck, and certainly keep us posted.
Thank y'all.
All right, have a great night.
Guy.
Take care.
You as well. Cheers.
Right, see ya. Again, Guy Boyan, one of the co-owners over at mintdisc.com. That's MINTDISCS, mintdisc.com. Sounds like, he's clearly got his hands full.
Well, yeah. I was thinking, what a great way to start a new company is and really build momentum?
Advertise with SmashBoxxTV.
At Worlds!
Oh, okay.
Yes, for those of you that don't know, this morning I put out on Facebook our ad rate sheet. So if you're looking to advertise with Smashbox at Worlds, please reach out to us. The information is out on our Facebook page. You can contact me or Terry. We can get you any information you need. We're looking. What I really like about, I loved doing last year's Worlds over in Emporia. It was a lot of fun. But as we stated last week, there was a little bit of pushback from some people thinking it was going to be really DD heavy. This is a PDGA. This is at a PDGA location. There's really no major manufacturer that anyone is beholden to. So everybody, we're wide open for sponsors. So we've already got one or two people reach out to us and have already signed up. I'm going to hold off on announcing who it is, but we do have someone has snatched up the replay sponsorship. So we have a sponsor of the instant replay. I'm excited.
Awesome.
I'm excited for that. And we have a sponsor for the scoreboard as well.
I was just going to say, and one of the cool things about it is we're open to ideas. If you came to us and said, hey, could we do this, whether it's a promo code or a Twitter feed or whatever, there's a lot of different opportunities. You've seen our broadcast. You probably have a lot of ways you suggest we could improve or just unique ideas, and we would love to see those. They can be giveaways. There's a lot of different ways to interact with our viewers out there here at the World Championships. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just reel it back for one brief second, though. Keep Johnny V in check, because that's what I do. We are, of course, reaching out because Worlds is less than 6 weeks away. roughly less than 6 weeks away. So we're really excited about it. It's very weird for Johnny and myself as it moves into, what's really customarily a July or an August time frame. This year all the way moved up into June for a lot of different reasons. And it's kind of sprung on us, and it's kind of sprung on a lot of people, I think, again, just not necessarily in that swing. So next week, because it's really the first available time, 1 week from tonight, or basically, I'm going to actually be getting on a plane and going down to Augusta, flying into Augusta, Georgia, to the IDGC, to the International Disc Golf Center, as well as the Fort Gordon course. And we do have to triple check our availability for our live broadcasting. We talk about it all the time. The stream kind of dictates where we're going to be and what we're doing. And so we're excited to be offering these opportunities, and we're looking to partner with people. And of course, we want to bring you the best broadcast that we can. And with that, we need to get there physically. And with an event of this magnitude, of course, we want to make sure everything's dialed in. So I'm going to be physically going down there. I would say there's a 10% chance, 20% chance that it might not work.
In general, like all together? No, I'm going to go with a 0% chance. Because here's from the research I've looked at.
Oh, great!
The Fort Gordon course is in the city. It looks like from the websites and stuff that we use that the signal strength and quality there is very good. We are not sure on the International Disc Golf Center because it's a little off the beaten path, and it is a very heavily wooded course. So that is what we're going to focus on. We're going to test them both if we can, obviously, and but we just we're going to double check. Yeah. So it's just one of those things. We're looking forward to broadcasting at Worlds. We will be there regardless in some capacity, but I'm pretty confident we're going to have some pretty good coverage at least one of the courses.
Okay. Well, so
and
you heard it from Johnny.
There's only 2 courses, so
there are only 2 courses, and they are planning on the final day and the final round all taking place out at Fort Gordon. Yeah. And we're just going to hope all of that scheduling and planning is going to be within our favor. Again, I think we're going to be challenged by trying to have coverage out at the International Disc Golf Center. However, that may mean we focus solely on the Fort Gordon course throughout the rounds. There's only 4 days of play this year, or 4 total rounds, and so we'll be bringing you as much play as possible, and very excited to do so. We have a feeling that it's going to probably be very Fort Gordon centric or based, simply due to the signals. So we're looking forward to it, and but I wanted to throw that out there. There is the slight chance. We have not physically been on site. A lot of places we talk about that we're really comfortable. We think of the Memorial. We think of going to Emporia. We think of going to all these great places where we've had success, or we've had trial and error, or scouted things out, and we just simply have not been to Augusta in a live capacity.
Correct.
So that's something that I'm going to go on site and double check next week. I'll be flying into Atlanta, driving over to Augusta, spending the day in Augusta, and coming back late the next night. So if you're in Augusta area or the ATL, let me know. Maybe I could run into you somewhere. So that's kind of the plan right now.
One of the other things that Mint can do in order to help boost their profile is get Disc Golf Nerd a disc or 2 for some reviews.
That would be a good idea.
And then what he does is he sends us a copy of the review, a shortened version of his long review. And I happen to have one right now, but not for Mint.
No.
This one is for the Page Pierce Convict. So sit back, take about 2 minutes, maybe 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
Roughly.
And let's take a listen to Disc Golf Nerd talk about the Page Pierce Convict.
What's up, Smashies? This month I will be reviewing the Page Pierce Signature Convict from Dynamic Discs. This is a great straight-flying disc from Dynamic Discs. It is something that you can trust. When you pull it out of the bag, you know exactly what it's going to do. It is in the Lucid plastic, which I like quite a bit. It's one of my favorite plastic types out there for a great mix of durability and grip and bright colors. This particular one has a little bit more flexibility than perhaps is typical. And it also has a really nice, beautiful swirl to the plastic, which I like quite a bit. Not a very wide rim disc at all. It's only a speed 9, so it's not a high-speed disc. It is more of a fairway type driver. It's still a far-flying disc and has a good amount of glide, especially for how stable it is. In flight, this is something that you can throw up to speed and you know it's not going to flip over on you accidentally. It's going to hold a very nice straight line with a good amount of glide and have a consistent finish at the end of the flight. For me, I don't have a huge arm. It's something that's pretty stable to overstable, where I know I can work a nice smooth hyzer with it. I do not have to worry about flipping it over accidentally at all. But if I really commit and snap it flat, it will just hold very, very straight with a nice smooth finish at the end. I can power it down to fight left smooth all the way, throw it up high for hyzer shots. It's just a really great kind of workhorse disc. You know what it's going to do when you pull it out of the bag. It's not an overstable meat hook type disc, but it is something that you don't have to worry about flipping accidentally and has a fade that you can trust. A bigger arm speed player like Paige Pierce can throw this thing with a lot of snap and power. Still going to get a very straight flight out of it. It will perhaps ride to the right a little bit for you if you have a big arm, but it still should come back and finish with a gentle fade, or something, again, you can power it down and throw it on a smooth hyzer. It's just a really nice disc that's very consistent and trustworthy. I'm a big fan of Paige, and I'm happy to see her have a new signature disc out there on the market. That is my review for this month. I will check you guys later. All right, cheers. That's it for my segment this month. Big thank you to Smashbox for having me be a part of the show. If you'd like to see the full review of this disc, as well as over 130 others, plus beginner tips and information, the Plastic Podcast, and lots of other disc golf related content, just search for Disc Golf Nerd on YouTube or Google. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks a lot, Disc Golf Nerd. We appreciate all your reviews. I think you do a great job. And for those of you out there, please go ahead and check out his page. I know he just promoted himself, but definitely get out there. He does giveaways. He does a lot of stuff out there for the community. So please get out there and take a look at the Disc Golf Nerd stuff.
Very, very cool. Again, thank you. Johnny and I have talked about it for years. We've seen and touched and thrown hundreds of pieces of plastic, but personally, doing reviews is something that's never really excited me.
Me neither. Usually I throw things into trees and I go, ah! Ah! So I'm hoping to avoid that this weekend at GMO.
Yes. So this weekend, Greater Milwaukee Open, again, that's a PDGA B tier, a stop on the Wisconsin Disc Golf Tour. Very excited to be hosting it. We're basically sold out of what I'm calling the A pool, which is all the professional divisions plus the advanced divisions, except for the advanced women, in order to try and generate a little bit more space and hope to maybe entice a few more to play. We only had 2 as we were just about to sell out, so I actually moved the advanced women over to the B pool, playing all the same courses, just in a different order, same tees, all that stuff, but in hopes that there was a few more spots over there and that we could get a few more women to come and participate. 2 more women signed up in intermediate today, so we've got 4, and we've only got a couple in advanced women. So we'd love to see more women get signed up. It's going to be a grueling day of golf. I'll admit that for all divisions, playing both Dretzka and Brown Deer in medium-ish to long-ish formation. Both of those have a lot of different pins to them, and you're going to see kind of medium to long. So our local pro, Mark the Shark Peterson, set all the pins. So if you don't like them, blame Mark.
So they're all going to be righty-friendly. That's what I like.
I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that.
I don't care. I'm a righty.
Yeah, exactly.
I would really love it if they were all really short.
They're not.
I don't like that. I want them all really short. Not that I have a problem throwing far. I have a problem throwing far accurately. I prefer throwing short accurately, especially when I haven't
played too much.
Yeah, or at all. I'm actually hoping to get out sometime this week and do some putting.
Yeah, overrated.
Just putting. I'm not worried about driving. I think after about 4 or 5 throws, my driving will be fine. But as fine as it's going to be. Yes, I mean I have an expectation level that is not very high. But putting is really one of those things that you need to kind of get a day or 2 of that in order to do it. So I'd like to get a couple practice putt sessions in. Maybe bring the kids out back, and which is why I'm complaining about the weather. Let's get a little bit nicer weather here.
Well, if you think if it's not 65, it's not nice out.
No, I just want it to be 60. Like 55, 58 degrees, not fun. Like I'd like to see it be 60 to 65 degrees would be perfect. So
my 8-year-old's tougher than you.
Whatever. That's fine. I don't. It's fine. Fine.
I was just gonna thinking about. I know the Masters Cup is coming up, and I was thinking about the AM side that also took place this weekend. And I know we're not really talking about tournament results, but I was just thinking of the massive overall event that was, and how they've spaced it out. And 2 weeks later, of course, then having the pro side next weekend. Scott Dimmig, sorry I'm not visiting you this year, buddy. I wish I was, but not going to be seeing you this year. But thanks for wearing your Smashbox shirt, and good to see you. So hopefully maybe I'll see you sometime later in the year. So we're going to wait for Miles Parkhill from Paragon Disc Golf. He's going to join us here shortly. We're waiting for him to turn his camera the correct direction, flip it on its side possibly, and we'll give him, I think that's a verbal cue. There he is.
Yeah.
And we'll see if we can get him set up. Looks like he's ready to get to some band practice here in a minute. I know we talk about Miles all the time because he is such a supporter of disc golf all around the world.
He's an okay guy, all right, too.
He's an all right guy, and he's a big supporter of Smashbox and the Pro Tour and really of clubs and tournaments all around the country. So let's welcome on Mr. Paragon, Miles Parkhill. How you doing tonight, buddy?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Pretty good, he says. Now, you, like Guy, like DD, like so many other companies, you've got to just be crushing it at work as it's full-blown disc golf tournament chaos season time.
Yes, it's nonstop, for sure.
So, Paragon Disc Golf has been around for, what, 6, 8, 10 years now?
2009.
Okay.
So yeah, we're going to be coming up on 10 years pretty soon.
And we've seen some gorgeous catalogs. We've seen a number of advertisements throughout the years. But give everyone a quick overview of what Paragon can be doing for a club or a specific event.
Obviously, coming up with good designs for clubs is, I think, one thing that we've helped a lot of clubs with. But obviously, printing shirts, bag tags have been huge. Banners, socks, anything. I mean, really anything you want your club logo on, we can do it. If we can't do it, I'll tell you who can do it, you know. The only thing we really don't do is disc. I think that's the one thing a lot of people ask us for. And I'm like, no, that's not my thing. You know, I'm doing the apparel. I'm doing everything else that the disc manufacturers are not usually doing.
Yeah, you... and I'll go ahead and say a few years ago when you were very active with helping in Springfield put on the event, you had done something that was really unique that I haven't seen too much since then because I know it was a significant amount of work. You actually had screen printed discs at one point for as kind of some trophy discs.
I think you're trying to poke and get me to do something here.
No.
We did do it, and I'm okay with trying it again. I mean, it wasn't a complete fail. I don't think it was as cool as a hot stamp, but you know, it was something different. I thought it was cool.
And maybe again, I'm a little partial because I know it was so unique and it was different. It wasn't the same process that we see on hundreds or thousands of other discs throughout the year. But having that screen print element was something that was really unique to it. I know I still have one in a box somewhere as a really cool memento.
Thousands of other discs, I'm sure.
Yes,
Actually,
far too many.
Laser engraved disc. Did you get a laser engraved disc?
I don't think I did, but it sounds like you should make me one.
We did those as the trophies, which they didn't look super cool for somebody that didn't understand what it was, but it actually melted the logo in, you know, a little more than a ghost stamp. You know, it was a little deep. It was pretty cool.
So bag tags, shirts, apparel. One of my favorite things in working with you, and I know you just kind of touched on it, is you guys can help with the artwork. And I'm sure I've gone off on rants about some just horrendous artwork. And I'm not artistic. I can't even draw, a good-looking stick figure. However, I can still call out bad artwork when I see it.
Oh,
and
sure.
You're trying to represent yourself or a club or a tournament or something like that. You need to have good artwork, and you have full-time artists on site that can help clean things up or possibly even start from scratch if you have a good idea.
Yeah, hopefully they're not watching right now because they'd probably be really mad if I'm like, oh yeah, we can vectorize that for you. But obviously, you know, a lot of people need vector art for their hot stamps. You know, I'm sure all the manufacturers love to get good art. We can help you get that. Or if you have gotten it from the manufacturers and bring it to us, we can print it for you as well. Obviously, we don't have the same restrictions as a hot stamp does with screen printing, but we do understand those. So if you need a design, you know, made for a hot stamp, we can help out with that as well.
And now you've also dabbled even in the world of, well, especially if they come to Springfield where it really needs to take place. You've done a few vehicle wraps. Is that correct? We see the Pro Tour trailer out there, which is a massive trailer. Your truck, Sarah Hokum's vehicle. Any others?
We did the Discraft trailer that I think Brady's pulling around now, the Deuce Squad / Discraft. That one turned out really sweet.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll have some more coming up in the future.
Okay, so also trailers, vans, cars, whatever people need, if they can bring it. What's the turn? I mean, obviously there's a design time that takes place that can happen ahead of time, but what's turnaround on, if your car had to be out of commission, is that just one afternoon if they came and visited you?
Probably a little longer than that if it's a full wrap, maybe 2 to 3 days at the most, but it just depends on what's all involved. We just got done finishing one. That was probably about 2 days. It was a close to a full wrap van transit, but turned out great. And, it's great advertising. I think it helps the sport look more professional. And obviously when you pull into a town, I mean, when I was pulling the Pro Tour trailer, every place you stop, people want to take a picture or ask, questions about disc golf or tell you their story about disc golf. So it's really cool to get conversation started.
What's your favorite vehicle to wrap? And that could be either by effort or by design, but what's your favorite vehicle to wrap?
I mean, anything that's flat, obviously. The easy ones.
Okay. Yeah. That's the answer I kind of expected.
Yeah. Trailers are nice and easy.
Trailers, okay. Well, very cool. Now, you've also been crucial in assisting Steve Dodge, the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Some people do or don't realize that a lot of the fulfillment for the Disc Golf Pro Tour when you're ordering stuff comes ultimately from some of your warehouse and may even be hand-packed by yourself. What are some of the goods, and where can people go find Disc Golf Pro Tour stuff if they're looking for it?
Obviously, dgpt.com. Lots of good stuff on there, and we're going to continue to add stuff. I know there was some stuff on the way from DGA, some steadies, a very limited run of those. They're apparently really cool. I saw a picture of them. I haven't seen them in person yet. I think they're going to be there tomorrow. Obviously, some really cool Vibram stuff. I mean, from all the manufacturers, there's great stuff. Discraft has the Mini Buzzes and Prodigy. Innova with the bottom stamp destroyers and their whole line of stuff. So, I mean, there's lots of cool stuff, and it's been going really well.
Awesome. Now, a couple questions that have come in on the board that I'll just confirm with you. The DG Beat had asked if you print shirts for non-disc golf companies, and milest-shirts.com, right?
Right.
You're not specific to disc golf.
That's honestly what's been really cool about the disc golf world. I grew up in the skateboard world, and it's kind of a similar sense of family, and everybody wants to help each other. I've gotten a lot of requests from, disc golfers, or maybe a disc golfer's wife, works at a business that needs some shirts, and their husband's like, yeah, call Miles. He helped out our club. It turned out great. It's helped me. And the cool thing is the money that we make as a business, we help put back into the sport, sponsoring pros, sponsoring tournaments. So, it's not like you're just sending money to some company. I mean, there's a lot of printing companies out there. There's a lot of great printing companies out there. And some people have local connections, and that's great. But if they're not a sponsor, then maybe, give us a call and see what we can do to help out as well as a sponsor your event.
Now, you've been active in Bowling Green. I know you've done some of their artwork, some of their shirts, some of the things that the Bowling Green AM Championships or the AM Championships at Bowling Green, whatever their name is this year. You've done a lot of work with them. And whether it's 900 people for an event or 2 dozen shirts, you can really work with anyone of any size.
Exactly. Yeah, we do events of all sizes. Obviously, Bowling Green being one of the biggest ones probably of the year that we help. And obviously B tiers, C tiers, unsanctioned events, people just doing shirts for fundraisers. Whatever it is, we can definitely help you out.
Okay, and then Elevated Greens asks a pretty legit question that I know can have a wide variance, but he or she asks, how much would a logo design cost? Just a ballpark figure. Is that an hourly rate, or does intensity matter? Give us like a very generic range.
Yeah, generic range, $25 an hour, and if you're looking for something pretty original logo, I mean, you might spend $50 to $200. Our designers are really good if you help us get a good direction or have a concept. That usually helps. Sometimes if we're shooting in the dark, or just taking a stab at it. We might have to revamp it a few times, but for the most part, I think we've done pretty well. We have probably, I don't know. I've only been doing this since 2009, but I think we have a large collection, possibly one of the largest collections of basket designs. I'm sure some of these disc manufacturers have more, but we actually have a file that has all the baskets that we've ever printed on shirts. It's from ones that we've created, which we've created over 30 original different basket logos, to obviously all the major manufacturer basket designs as well.
So for the love of God, people, stop taking DGA's DGA's basket, people put a pole on it. They've done that now forever. Somebody else did it. But DGA's great looking basket logo, which is theirs, with a pole on it, and using that as your official club logo. That is not legitimate. So for the love of God, everyone, please stop doing that. Okay,
and
Johnny?
luckily,
I was going to say 200, even if it ran you $200, that's a ridiculously great price for original art, because go look into any sort of logo design or anything like that. You can easily pay into the thousands of dollars for that type of stuff. So
yeah, and what's great is if
props
it's
to you.
Original, and then you can make it your own and work with you guys so that it's forever you or your club or your company. Do exactly that. Get something that's original that you can claim as your own, and then forever have your brand that you know is going to be unique. That's the way to go.
Well, and obviously this is going to be something that most clubs will use for years. I mean, there's been clubs that we've been doing tags for since the beginning, and they've been using the same design that we came up with originally for them. A lot of clubs, they see the advertisement, it just has a basket on the tag, and they think that's what all the bag tags are. It's no, everything is custom, unique. We don't try to really use any stock designs. We want everyone to have their own flavor, their own style, whatever part of the country they're in, whether it's a oak tree or whether it's a cactus, whatever it goes to make their club be different from, the next club. And, obviously the clubs that have cooler designs sell more shirts. They get more people to join.
Yep.
We've had a couple really cool designs recently that the clubs have gotten back to me and said, hey, we just sold 30 more club memberships. And I said, well, your design's awesome. I would buy one, and I'm nowhere near your state, but the shirt's cool, so that helps it for sure.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to say for sure.
And I was going to say, not just have people think outside the box. One of the things I really liked here in Milwaukee was some of our courses actually have some designs. Like we had a Brown Deer logo done up. I don't think I've ever particularly seen. No, I think there was even a couple Dretzka hoodies that I've seen off and on. But in general, think outside the box, not just for your club. If you've got a really popular course, or maybe the only course in your area, think about doing up some shirts for your course. If your course has a really cool name or anything like that, some of those things can really drive up some membership and sponsorship and things like that.
That was one of my favorite things that I saw in attending a lot of different Worlds throughout the years. I don't remember if it was I think it was the 2009 Worlds is when they did it. It was in Kansas City, and they had different shirts for each of the different courses. And
cool.
their courses are all amazing, Swope and Blue Valley and Waterworks, and they had very different, unique designs for each of the courses, and I think that's where it debuted, was that World Championships. And I thought, wow, there's so many people that are so proud of where they play, and they want to represent that if you can get some good artwork to associate with just your course, whatever that course is, you'd be surprised how many people want to support that and use that as a fundraiser to help course improvements and things of that nature. So all certainly good things that people can be doing. Miles, I'll ask you, and you can tell us the truth.
Thanks. Yeah. Don't lie to us, Miles.
Am I or am I not your most high maintenance customer?
You're probably in the top 10, maybe.
Yes. Good.
So Terry has an event this Saturday.
Yep.
He'll be contacting you Thursday night
no.
to get some stuff.
That would not surprise me.
No, it wouldn't. And could you drive that up? Because I just, meet me at the course on Saturday morning.
Meet me at Dana's tournament. I'll be there.
Well, you can go to Dana's little tournament that's not sold out yet, because mine is almost.
Hey,
no,
it's gonna get there. I mean,
It is.
It's gonna be an amazing tournament. I hope to play. I'm still undecided yet. But man, I've been playing a lot recently, and I've been putting well, so I'm feeling like I should play.
Yeah, Johnny. Earlier when I was talking to Miles today, he said he's like, yeah, I'm pretty much putting everything inside Circle Ricky. He's like anything inside.
Wow.
Yeah, 66 is in. So he's going to be hustling.
I don't know if I said 66. I think I said 40 or 50.
Oh, okay. Well, sure. How big was that fish?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if it'll continue. You know, when the pressure's on of a tournament, I'll probably airball 10-footers. But I watched the coverage that you did of the putting competition at Glass Blown, and it inspired me to just not miss putts.
Wow, that's all you
a
got
lot
to
more
do.
exciting to hit the chains.
Our videos help you putt.
Yeah,
you know,
they
that's
proven.
Definitely watch them.
You have that listed in the Patreon support, right? All our videos.
We'll make you a better putter. Yes,
make you a better putter.
But that's only if you sponsor at a certain level.
Of course. Miles, there's a lot of good stuff going on in the Midwest. We're seeing AM Worlds taking place over in the Quad Cities. The Pro Masters Worlds will be held in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Pretty exciting all around here. When do you pick and choose what you're traveling to, what you're associated with? You're helping out the Pro Tour that's taking you everywhere, including Ledgestone in Kentucky and some of those other places. What's your travel schedule like, and how busy does it get for you?
Yeah, I think pretty much the rest of the Pro Tour is the rest of my year. So obviously everybody knows those dates. If not, go to dgpt.com. I don't know if there's any other events. I mean, I did Bowling Green. Obviously, that was a non-Pro Tour event. And then I went to Glassblown, kind of help out a little bit. So that was kind of a last-minute thing, but that was a lot of fun. They always put on a great show there. Last time I played there was 2010. Still have the disc from that. I still throw up that disc. Threw it today. But yeah, I think just hitting the Pro Tour and being out there. If there's any other events, obviously Dana's event, if I go up there, I may vend a little bit and try to sell some stuff. But
are you going to be present at AM Worlds?
I hope so.
Okay.
Sometimes, if you don't get reached out to, you don't always feel like
sure.
you want it, because it's so competitive, and I'm not really a competitive person, and so I just kind of sit back sometimes and wait and see what happens.
Makes sense.
I'm not super worried about it.
So, speaking of competitive, you're a disc golf company. We just obviously talked with Guy over at Mint, and we have all of these great disc golf companies that we interact with. You, just like everyone else, I'm sure you get hounded with, because you make great apparel and you have all these great accessories, you get hounded with sponsorship requests, not just for the actual event that's maybe happening, but as players as well. And you sponsor a couple of great players. You sponsor 2012 world champion in Sarah Hokum and a number of other really great players. Tell us about some of the things, maybe the do's and don'ts, to when people reach out to you. What at least gives you, as you're reading down this letter or email or telegraph, whatever they're sending you, what are some of the do's and don'ts when requesting personal sponsorship?
I think if you're going to send out sponsorship, number one, make sure you personalize it to the company. I know some people send out mass emails to a lot of companies, and potentially maybe they could possibly forget to change the company name and send one sponsor request to the wrong company. I've seen that happen. I think keep it short and sweet. A lot of us business owners get a lot of emails. If it's really long, it might get skipped over. Obviously, include your information. Include your PDGA number. Maybe a link to a video of you playing if you played maybe on the top card of something that, Smashbox or Jomez or Central Coast covered. That would be helpful. But honestly, if you send your PDGA number over, I look that up, and I see that you played 10, 15, 20 events sanctioned. That's a good start. But also letting me know what you do in the community of your club, or if you run any leagues, or if you teach. All that's really important. Obviously, I'm sure the manufacturers get a million times more requests than I do, but I try to respond to every single one of them and let people know. Sometimes it's just staying in touch with the company. Can continue to update with, hey, I won this tournament. Hey, I got second on this tournament. Hey, I'm going here. I'm going there. Because sometimes it doesn't happen right away. There's a few people that I sponsor just on a whim. Usually it's kind of, you got to know somebody, but sometimes if somebody really impresses you and stands out, it's hard to say no.
What are some of the most sought after qualities? You talked about some of the things they should tell you, but what do you feel like are some of the best qualities that you're looking for when you're sponsoring or supporting someone?
I think people that are involved in the sport as a whole. I'll use Debbie Scott and her family as a great example. I mean, their whole family is involved. They're all playing and competing. Obviously, Debbie probably on the higher level of the family, but it's not always about playing open and winning every tournament. Obviously, that helps, but the people that are really active in their local community helping the sport grow is something that I look for. Obviously Dana and I worked together forever. I'm sure any company would sponsor Dana because he was just such a great guy. But I mean, yeah, the qualities of like Dana, that's a perfect example, I guess. He's just like super likable and he's not over the top pushy. Hopefully Dana's asleep by now. But yeah, I mean, I think just more than on the course, sometimes it's the off the course stuff and volunteering, helping at big events, just being there to help other people when they need it, for events and stuff.
Well, and I think name drop another one of your sponsored players. Well, there's obviously Tom McManus, who's always really helpful and a big smashy, PDGA 1276. But I was going to say Hannah Leatherman. She is obviously very active in the disc golf scene. She plays professional women and performs very well. Co-champ at Glassblown, but aside from being a world-class player and athlete, she's a great ambassador, on and off the course, and helpful and friendly and running clinics and has her various messages and everything else. Again, someone that I think a lot of people could look up to and say, hey, I would like to be on the path she's on. She's a very inspiring person. So
right, no, that's a perfect example because obviously her and her husband are a great team with running events and running clinics, traveling the world. I mean, what's not to like and be inspired by them?
So Firearm Disc Sports wants to know, what disc is it that you got from that GBO that you're still occasionally throwing?
It's actually kind of a funny one because Randy, who I was playing with today, hasn't been playing as long, and I said this is an interesting disc because it's a Buzz, but it's got a dynamic stamp on it. Way
back in the day.
Understand how that was a little weird nowadays.
Sure.
But yeah, that's what it was. A crystal Buzz.
A crystal Buzz. All right. And so for those newer listeners, believe it or not, Dynamic Disc was at one point really a clothing and apparel and tournament running company that did not produce their own discs and sponsored the likes of Paul Macbeth and Paul Ulibarri and another of a ton of our Nico, a ton of our other top players, and obviously they spawned off to eventually doing what they're doing now. So yeah, that is a unique disc in that sense, for sure, Miles.
Yeah, it's been in my bag since. I keep throwing it. I've had a lot of other Buzzes, but that one just continues to stay in there.
So is it the DD stamp or is it the Discraft Buzz? Which is it?
So it actually has a bottom stamp Discraft logo, and then the top is the Glassblown 2010 logo.
Or just the magic that Miles.
Yeah, it's Miles Magic.
Miles Magic. That's what it does. All right, Miles. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us? Maybe I always like to ask what's the biggest misconception that's out there, within your company, or within your day-to-day operations, or maybe what you're approached with. Any fun misconceptions you like to, or rumors you like to squash?
If there's any rumors, I don't really know about them. Okay. I mean, maybe some people can fill me in.
Rumor has it you sing falsetto in your band.
No. But we do have a show coming up at the end of July in Springfield, Illinois. If you're going to be around, check it out.
The band name and where are you playing?
What's the name of the band?
The band is called Park. You can check us out online. It's kind of hard to find because there's a lot of other things like Lincoln Park and South Park and stuff like that. But a couple of album titles, if you search like Park, No Signal, Park, Building a Better, Park, It Won't Snow Where You're Going, you'll find us.
Parkhill.
Pandora, there's a Park Pandora station. You can check that out at least.
Oh, cool.
I'm sure it's on other stuff too. It's on iTunes. You can find it. But yeah, so yeah, we're gonna be playing. Haven't played in a while, so playing at the what would have been or it's Down Home Music Festival in Springfield, Illinois. So the end of July, last weekend in July on Saturday night, 10 p.m. So
Headlining.
Yeah, pretty much. So it'll be fun. And yeah, reach out to me, info@paragondiscgolf.com. Email me. I'm on email all the time. Let me know if I can help out with your club, if I can help out with your event. Maybe team up on some stuff and see what we can do together.
All right. Well, very cool. And don't do what I do, which is wait till the last minute and then ask Miles to make magic happen. He does more often than not for me, but that's only because I live close by, and then I mention his name once in a while.
And I have to drive. Yeah, I potentially might have to drive 4 hours.
We make it work. And speaking of making it work, any of the SmashBoxxTV soft tees that have been recently produced, or any of the dry fits that I did a few months ago, very limited run of the sweatshirts as well, all printed over at Miles' place, as he's again been a huge supporter, and we appreciate everything that you do for us, Miles.
Yes, we do.
We love watching Smashbox, so keep it up.
All right, pal.
Thanks, Miles.
Have a good night. Say hi to the family, and look forward to seeing you soon.
All right, later.
All right, good night. Again, Miles Parkhill from Paragon Disc Golf and MilesT-shirts.com. If you need anything whatsoever, I think the biggest takeaway, or the thing that he hit on that I emphasize all the time, is support those who support us. And it's true. You may have a local, and you may think, okay, I want to support my local tee shop printer or whatever, and no problems with that whatsoever. I worked with a local gentleman for many, many years. He's a great guy and did a lot of things for me. But as I got to know Miles, I thought, well, this is even better.
He's in my disc golf community.
Because he's in the disc golf community. And for that reason, it's been great to work with him. And the funny story that Miles and I have kind of talked about is, for a number of years, I'd see Paragon. Again, we're in southeastern Wisconsin, and frequently, with him being in Springfield, Illinois, which is about 4.5, 5 hours.
A couple hours away.
But I would see Paragon on things, at tournament sponsorships and all these other places. I just thought, Paragon Disc Golf, what is that? And I got genuinely annoyed by seeing his stuff everywhere. I'm like, this guy's doing stuff everywhere. Who is this guy? And sure enough, through the magic of Maple Hill, over at Steve Dodge's place at the Vibram Open, I think it was around 2012-ish or so.
Yep.
I think at one point him and I were practically sharing a inflatable mattress, and by the end of the weekend, I was excited to give him all of my T-shirt business and so many other things. He's just a super great. It had nothing to do with the room sharing either, or the mattress sharing, as to how he won me over. Or did it? So, but Miles has been great, and again, you find him out on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. He's always a helpful hand, and doing everything he can assist to make everything look and be the best that it can be. So thank you. All right, Tyler Lowe, welcome to the show, buddy. We're glad you're here. So, what other kind of things do we have in the news here, Johnny?
There's been virtually nothing going on this week. A lot of our pros are traveling because there's no event going on. There's no event. There is no major or big event going on this weekend other than the Daisy Chains in California. This weekend is a lot of women's events. So the Daisy Chains out in California, you're going to see the likes of your Sarah Hokum, Zoe, Paige. I don't know. I think
Val,
Madison might be.
believe.
Yeah, Val. Madison might be signed up, but I don't know if she's playing. I'm not sure exactly what is going on with her wrist and whatnot yet. So you don't hear a lot from our pros. You see a lot of them traveling overseas, a few of them at least, for Kona Piche Day. But as far as news, we got nothing.
Seems to be a little bit slower.
It's very quiet.
Huh. Which is probably I don't know if much needed, but a perfectly timed break a little bit. You know, things have been going pretty fast and furious. Sorry, Paul Walker. But things have been going really fast and furious. Having the Disc Golf Pro Tour every other weekend for a number of weekends. Obviously, we've seen 2 national tours now take place, happening in both Vegas and then, of course, just a couple weeks ago at the Glass Blown. So I don't even want to call it a lull. I mean, there was A tiers going on. There's big events, and our players are out there. But like you said, no one central focus point.
Correct. Everyone's kind of split up a little bit. There's no focus on a particular area right now.
And I think we're going to see, obviously, a lot of people reconvene next weekend over at the Masters Cup taking place out in Santa Cruz, California. And good to see that's going to be yet another national tour taking place. We talked about it a few months ago. A little bit of a shakeup in terms of DGA not being the title sponsor, which they've been for the last short-term memory, 5-10 years, whatever it's been, and then having now Innova step in and being the primary title sponsor of that national tour event. So some people have asked whether it's me that's going to be there or SmashBoxx in any capacity. Again, just to clarify, SmashBoxx does not have the capabilities of even being live at that event. Unfortunately, over at that park, there's just really not enough cell phone signal. It's kind of situated on a hill of sorts, or near or behind a hill, depending on how you want to look at it. So the cell phone signal is poor at best in that area.
Yeah.
I believe you're going to see Spin TV as the overall organizer of the media, and I think that they're working directly with Central Coast.
So
they'll be kind of the backbone of Spin TV for that weekend. And this weekend, over in the Czech Republic at the Konopiste Open, we're seeing, as I saw from a few posts as well, of course, Jomez Productions going to be over there, and putting together lead card coverage, and I think they're planning on some commentary with
Mr. Sexton, I'm sure.
And possibly Paul Macbeth or otherwise. So, yes, Nate Sexton, I'm sure, will be one of them, and then they'll bring in some other people. Now, I know Avery Jenkins had made a post that he was going to be on his way, or that he was heading over. Eagle, I'm guessing he's going to be doing some Facebook Live of sorts, if I had to guess. That's been kind of their game plan lately. And we may see other commentators, whether it's an Eagle McMahon that steps in, or a Ricky Wysocki, or whomever else may be part of that. So,
well, I will say this. I feel a little bit bad for the Jomez crew traveling all the way over there. I mean, they get to go over there, so it's good for them. But, and I saw this from somebody else, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, rain.
Boop.
Yeah.
Boo.
So it's not going to be your beautiful blue skies, lush green. You're going to get probably some sloppy golf. Good golf, sloppy weather.
Okay.
So all the best to those guys out there. Keep your gear protected and try to stay dry. But I just think of how unfortunate. And I saw a lot of them post today. They were out visiting some cool stuff and checking out castles and all these other things. But when it comes down to the reason that you're there for work, you're looking at like 60% chance of rain, 40% chance of rain, 60% chance of rain. It doesn't look like any thunderstorm, so I don't think we're losing a day of golf.
I say they call it early, like right now.
But we've just had an unfortunate run of weather early this year.
Well, I mean, a lot of people would just say that's spring.
A little bit.
Which I can understand, and obviously there's always a roll of the dice when it comes to springtime in a lot of different places, but yeah, that's some of what you can expect during the springtime, and unfortunately, yeah, we've been on the not so great end of that. Some of our larger tournaments, I think the event taking place in San Diego this last weekend, same thing, hampered by rain in San Diego. I think.
Yeah, I was going to say there was a post by Robert Ryan a week or two ago screaming about the GBO and how, because he got shorted around last year in Masters and he got shorted around this year, basically saying, blah blah blah, and people are saying, oh, let's just keep it in Cali for like the first 6 or 5 months, and then we go to Santa Cruz and they're getting rained on.
Yeah,
California's had like the wettest year they've had. They cried for so long about a drought, and now that they're getting rain, they're complaining about the rain. So it worked me up a little bit when I saw it last week, and I was just thinking, no, it doesn't matter where it is or when it is. Weather is weather. You're gonna run into it.
I mean,
and I'm done.
Math and statistics will generally be in your favor when you pick an Arizona and you pick a California, of course. But yes, to your point, it's funny that they're getting some of that
play in the desert,
inclement weather. Because of course it can happen anywhere at any time. Rob Ryan making a post that gets somebody worked up.
I know.
You don't say.
I know.
You don't say.
I know.
That Rob Ryan.
I even wrote something up and then deleted. I'm like, no, don't do it. Don't do it.
That's a slippery slope.
Nah.
Sometimes that certainly can be. Yes, and some people are saying, no, we're not used to all the rain. I agree. Tyler Lowe says, record rain in San Diego this past weekend. So to summarize what Johnny V said, suck it, everyone. Because it can happen. It just can simply happen. Again, not likely, but it can. So there you go.
Yep.
Jose Galvin says, I just ordered my first mint disc.
Good. I hope you used the Smashbox code when you did that, too.
I'm sure you did. You'd be silly if you didn't.
Mintbox, 15% off your order. So I'm looking forward. Like I said, I really liked, I'm not here to plug them, but I really did like the way it felt in my hand. It was, it felt, like the smaller rim discs that I'm used to, like the older T-Birds or whatever they, or the Leopards and things like that, the ones that I threw when I was little. But I really liked that feel, and I really liked the way that disc particularly felt. So I'm looking forward to getting my hands on a few and throwing them in a couple of years. When they're on their 5th or 7th run, because that's when I'm going to get out and play.
Avery Jenkins just posted to keep this all on a time scale here. 16 minutes ago, he posted and said, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump over the Atlantic for my 16th trip to Europe for disc golf, and showing that he's going over to Prague in the Czech Republic. So safe travels to him. Actually, I haven't inquired, I'll admit, as to exactly the media plan that's taking place over there. But we're expecting just that. Jomez for, the leader card production, post-production.
Well, let's put it this way. It'll all be on Spin TV.
Correct.
It will not be on the Jomez channel.
Yes.
So it'll be on
PSA
Spin.
there.
It'll be on Spin TV. Jomez is doing the recording. Odds are Sexton's going to be doing the commentary, and you're going to get all the typical Jomez production quality, but on Spin TV.
And again, you will, assuming there's some kind of quality, signal quality, we have to assume that there'll probably be some Facebook living from Avery. There will likely be the Instagram clips that will come in.
He was there last year, and he did the not the Instagram. He did some Facebook Live stuff that I remember watching and following for a bit. So my guess is that we're going to see some of it for sure.
Okay, so that's what we can see over there. Do we have any official time conversion charts? I haven't looked. Isn't that usually an Alta World thing? They do that for us.
They better.
Some kind of time conversions as they're ahead of us. Well, they should be up and practicing right now or playing right now with how late we are. Someone asked earlier tonight, what kind of Patreon support do I have to give for you guys to start earlier on Tuesday nights?
Well, here's what I'll say. I believe there is a Patreon level, and it might even be the $400 or $500 level, where we will travel somewhere and do a podcast.
Yes.
So if we get up to a specific amount, maybe we'll go over to the East Coast and start like an hour earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're on the road, I'll have to look at exactly what...
we will find a great disc golf destination.
Yep.
And we will travel there, once a month to do that?
No.
Once a year? Once a week?
Yeah. Yeah, it's at $500. So basically it says if we get to $500 per podcast, we'll let you guys vote on a place for us to go, and we'll travel there. And we'll probably do it like twice a year. Or it says, I'm sorry, 3 or 4 times a year it says on here.
Okay.
So maybe
they'd vote Hawaii.
Once a yeah.
Alaska.
Like the most expensive places. I think I did say in the continental US, but if not, I'm gonna update that. So yeah, because I mean I think that would be a lot of fun to go somewhere, either somebody's disc golf shop or a course, or even somebody's house that's has got a nice big pad that we can go to and do some broadcasting.
I saw Eric McCabe send a message. Eric, we'd come back to Emporia. You guys got great internet there. We'd love to come visit.
We love ValueNet. So yeah, so I mean that's that. So that's how you can get us. Push all your friends to sign up for our Patreon.
Well, in an ideal situation, what would be great is if we were to then go visit someplace that maybe had a putting league or a huge
Yeah.
nightly league or
Yep.
something like that, or we can interact, do something, maybe play the league, and then shortly after that have the podcast. It'd be fun to travel around and make a whole night or two of it. So one of the comments coming in off the board.
That's at $2,000 a podcast.
Oh.
If we ever get to $2,000 a podcast, we're going to rent our own studio and hold putting leagues and things like
yes, right
So-
here. And you're all invited.
that. Everyone's invited. Just $2,000
On your own dime. So on the board, Elevated Greens has commented saying that thoughts about removing the recreational division from tournaments, would that help avoid confusion for new tournament players as well as what level to sign up for? What I'd like to say is I don't think you don't remove the recreational division, you rename it. I've said for years
Yeah.
that our naming, and again, every single sport is, I mean, when I think there's other sports, I don't know if it's darts or some other sports where master is considered like the top level, not necessarily, it's not necessarily, it has anything to do with an age protection. I want to say somebody said it was darts once. I don't know what it is, but
This you're gonna laugh at me for knowing this, but
Pokemon
League, Master is like age 21 and up, and it confused me because it was like 2 weekends ago. I took my boy to this like pre-giveaway thing, and in order to get the package, you have to play in this little event. And I was like, well, I'm here. I might as well get 2 packages for him. So it was like $20. And you get like these pre-release cards, and they come with a cool, special, expensive card or whatever. So I'm sitting there, and the guy and the lady's like, well, what division? And I'm like, I don't know. Do you have like an old man division?
I'm 9.
Yeah, like
40 rated.
like and I looked around, and thankfully I wasn't even the oldest guy there.
Sure.
And she's like, "Oh, no, you're just in Masters." And I'm like, "Oh, because is it like 30?" And she's like, "No, just everyone 21." I'm like, "Really?"
21 and up.
And I was like, "Oh, that's kind of," and I was just,
So I think to drive the point home, nomenclature, if that's the fancy term for it, I think that could be altered. It is very odd, and let me. For a while, recreational was, we'll say, the entry level of tournaments, and then ultimately sub 850 became novice. And I love the term novice. I don't love the term recreational just because I feel like it gets a little bit confused. So I don't think we need to do away with any of the divisions necessarily. I think I would love just a full-blown wash of the names of some of them would be great. But I don't think we need to get rid of the actual division itself. I just think the names. Because it is kind of interesting when you think about it. There are people that are lifetime recreational golfers by PDGA terms.
Sure.
You're rated 860. Maybe you get as high as 899. Maybe you go as low as 851. You are technically a recreational golfer. You may carry 38 discs in your bag. You may have been playing for 40 years, but you are deemed by our... by our scale,
hitting a little close to home, Terry.
recreational. And for that reason, yes, when I think of the term recreational, I think of someone that's not necessarily been doing it for long or hasn't been around long and doesn't play that much or take it all that serious. And then you go to a tournament and recreational has people with 40 discs and $200 bags and $35 Firebirds. And
would we... I kind of have this mentality like, wouldn't it make more sense to just say sub 900 is one division, 900 to 950 is one, that'd be like your intermediate, 950 to 1,000 is another, and 1,000 and up.
Sure. Okay.
Like that just seems like it'd be simplifying it a little bit more.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about just an alignment of actual divisional breakdowns.
Yeah.
Division
and I'll say 950 is really just a flat number. I'm sure. Like I said, if we looked at the stats, I think Chuck's pretty dead on with 970. I mean, I know he's looked at all the statistics and whatnot, but even if you do it seems really strange to have it 920 or whatever it is and 929. I don't know. But I do think that the naming convention is screwy.
Well, I think if we could maybe have an easier appeal to the masses if we just called it like Class A, Class B, Class C, like and none of those other terms. Because when you say intermediate versus advanced, is it, and you think of or recreational or novice, like
to me, recreational should be the very bottom.
And see, I like the term novice. I don't really like the term recreational to be used at all.
I don't either, but if I had to pick, I would think recreational, oh, that's the guy who's probably played for fun but never played a tournament. Novice is like, to me, I'm thinking novice is, you're a beginner. You've played a tournament or two.
Beginner's another good word.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, that to me, I think those two names are screwed up in my head. And
Sure.
I've always... I've never played in either division just because they didn't exist when we were playing in those ranks. But I just think that to me those sound mixed up personally, and I think maybe that's what might confuse people from the outside. Granted, I don't really think we have a problem because I don't necessarily think that we're driving a lot of players away by that. But
no,
even a few is probably.
I just think I think of some sports that are maybe newer to me. For instance. Racquetball, or I was at the gym last night. I see they're having a pickleball tournament, which I've played literally a few games of pickleball.
Sure,
and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
and when I went there, or when I go there to sign up for one of those again, without actually looking at them, if I saw Class A, B, C, or D, or levels 1, 2, 3, or 4, just like get rid of all the actual names, I think would work as well.
Yeah, the problem with that is, which is the low class, Class 1 or Class 4?
I understand that.
Like, then you run into that issue.
Still, but once you at least, that's all you have to figure out.
I agree.
Is if they're all in one order.
Yep.
That's why, technically, when you look at the names within the PDGA, the codes for them, if you go by codes, sometimes that makes a little bit more sense to you. We have MA1,
MA2,
MA2, MA3, MA4.
Yep.
So for those reasons, those make a little bit more sense if you're looking at it in a logical perspective. If you're just going by the codes, but a lot of times people don't use those codes; they refer to the names that are associated with them. So anyway, interesting conversation. I would love to see different words for recreational and novice, or maybe interchanging them, maybe not. But again, when rec was developed, I really truly believe novice wasn't even a thought at the time.
Probably not.
Rec was considered, 900 and below, and then eventually it was broken down yet again.
Do you have a way for us to give away that mint disc yet?
No, but I see Guy has posted. His wife Carolyn has also said, "Great job, honey. Adeline and I thank you for the shout out." And posted a picture of them as they were watching, and that's right. Again, said, "See, I told everyone that he married up."
Hold on, let me check.
Yeah, way out of his class.
Way out of your league. Come on, Guy.
So very nice. No, I'll message Guy right now, and we'll see if we can come up with a clever way to.
Because this is not our Patreon giveaway.
This is not. There's going to be another Patreon.
We're doing 2 giveaways. We're doing
two giveaways tonight.
We're going to do our typical Patreon giveaway, and if you want to be a Patreon supporter, you can sign up at patreon.com, and you can be entered into our giveaways. But we're actually going to do the mint giveaway as well, and this is going to be for. Do you think this is going to be just a viewer one? People are watching tonight, or is this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So people,
it pays to be here and be live.
If you're watching and not a Patreon supporter, it's like old school. You're gonna have a chance to win. So let's, Jose says, let's bring on the giveaway.
Oh, of course, everybody just wants the giveaway. So, oh man, giveaway's done. I'm out. No, we're gonna tease you all night. Call me a disc tease. Disc Golf Nerd had asked if anyone had heard Yuli and Germ discussing ratings on their show. Interesting stuff. No, I hadn't heard. I didn't know they had a show. So, Yuli has said for years, and I forget where Jeremy's stance is on it, but I know Yuli has said for years that he'd be fine if they got rid of ratings for everyone over 1,000. He thinks they're pointless and useless. Now, maybe his viewpoint has changed on that, but I know at one point he was saying, everyone over 1,000, I don't care. It's like, okay, well.
I don't. On one hand, I kind of like, I kind of agree with that because it really is pointless because if you're over 1,000, you're playing pro. And just say at this point, you are now qualified to be a pro player. But there is a little validation when someone like Macbeth is the highest rated pro player to have a rating. So I think there's that as well, that you say, all these guys are pros, but this one sticks out the most because he's the best. There's a validation there as far as a number. So, I see his point, but I don't necessarily agree with it.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see if I can reach out to Guy, and I'm going to ask, give away suggestions. Maybe there'll be a hint or a clue or something that could be done that's specific to him or his company, or something that maybe he even mentioned, to make sure you were paying attention.
Well, yeah. Yeah, Disc Golf Nerd says they were talking about ratings being flawed and how players need to avoid certain events to maintain higher ratings. Well, I think if you do that, you're an idiot. An idiot. If you're a pro player and you're avoiding a particular course or event because you're afraid it's going to hurt your rating,
then are you playing for the right reasons?
Yeah, you're stupid. You've got some sort of mental deficiency in that you care about your rating that much.
Well, which is funny because so many people say, I don't care about my rating. I don't care what it is.
Exactly, because as a pro, it shouldn't matter. You're there to win money. You're there to beat the competition.
You're there to take first.
Yeah, you're there to take first. If you're there and you're like, even if I win, I might, my rating might only be 10 or 10-15 because the course has an SSA of like 52 or something dumb, then quit. Just leave our sport.
Wow.
Be done.
So according to Disc Golf Nerd, since we didn't watch it, it says you just called out Paul and Ricky stupid then.
Yes. If they're avoiding a particular event, if they're avoiding a good event because it's going to hurt their rating, yes, I think they are stupid then. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're avoiding a B tier because of that and you're at their caliber, fine, whatever. But if you're avoiding let's just say, and let's take Glass Blown, and Peter Pan.
Okay.
The course, it's a relatively easy course. It's not an SSA of 52, but let's just say they played medium pins and you had to shoot a 14 down to hit 1050 or 16 down or something like that. Do you avoid that particular event because they have a course on it that's bad? That will hurt your rating? A rating that truly means nothing, because I don't believe there's a single player that gets a bonus based on their rating. You get bonuses usually based on your wins, your world rank, and other things. And I know world rank, I don't know if it can be impacted by ratings, but ultimately, it's a minute statistic overall. It'll level itself out. And if you're that worried about it, I have no time for you.
Ouch! Johnny V.
I'm dropping the mic here. Yeah, it just makes no sense.
With a sub 950 rating, has no time. Has no time. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand, because again, you play a tournament to win it, and I've said this before, and this could come to fruition on any given day. If you said, do you want to play 2 1050 rounds of golf and take third, or do you want to play 2 rounds that are rated 980 and win the tournament? I'd rather win.
Of course.
Well, maybe not, of course. That's to your point. Maybe not everyone thinks that way, which is kind of scary.
I mean,
because really, winning is what should matter.
But 99,000 times out of 99,001.
Wow, that's a stat.
Yeah, exactly. If you look at someone and they won an open event, and they were 980 rated, it's probably A, because there weren't a lot of people there.
Yeah,
that's the only way that happens. Like, and again,
or the course is insanely easy,
or it would have to be really easy. We're talking like easier than Valley View.
Valley View, Beaver Dam in Wisconsin. Those are 2 courses where you need to shoot 10 under to get to 980.
Yeah, well. Great. Yeah, I mean, all these guys should do that. Every last one of them.
No, I know.
Yeah, I mean, and again, like, it's one blip in a giant statistic. So, and Chuck Kennedy said it before that's why they ask the tournaments, the bigger ones, not to play on those SSA courses.
Correct.
But if it's there, if something happens where you have to play, or if it's a really good event, and it just, and the course is easier than you feel it should be, I don't know. And we don't have many of those because the good events are on difficult, long courses. But I'm saying if that were the case, I don't know. I have so little. I would have so little respect for somebody if that's why they did not play an event.
And it's not for me. It's not a respect issue to bring it up. But I think I've overheard years ago Dave Felberg talking about going to certain courses, certain areas, certain tournaments with certain caliber of players there with SSAs, and how much it can negatively impact your rating. And if those are things that our pro players are certainly thinking about with regards to sponsorship and everything else, clearly you don't agree with it, call it right or wrong, but that definitely goes into account for some of our top players, that they say, you know what, I'm not going to go to that course or to that tournament, for these reasons.
Like, I would almost
or those reasons maybe factor in.
I would understand if you were talking like league ratings.
Sure.
Like, oh man, I don't want to play, I don't want all these league ratings at Valley View because it is an SSA of, 51 or 50 or whatever that happens to be. I would get that, but a tournament to me is different. Like a tournament, you're there to play the competition. If the money is good, if you tell me you're not showing up because you don't feel the money is good, I have no issue with that.
That's
Zero.
a different story.
That's
yes.
a totally different story. If you're telling me because you think it's going to hurt your rating.
Well, apparently, again, according to Disc Golf Nerd, thanks for the cliff notes on their little podcast thingy, that Yuli referenced a specific example where Ricky would not play a small event because it would damage his rating even if he won. It was a deuce or die type course, which is exactly where this is most likely to happen.
And I think that's, I think that's dumb. If you're Ricky and you're in the area and you want to play, like if you're taking a week off, take a week off. Just I'm going to relax or whatever. But if you're looking at that and go, I really want to play, but that's gonna hurt. That could hurt my rating. Even if I win, at best I'm shooting 1040 golf, and I'm a 1050 player. No, I don't agree with it, because if you're there and you make money, and granted, I don't know Ricky's financial situation. I don't think he's hurting for cash, so there are other things that factor in. But if that's your main factor, it feels dirty to me.
Okay.
So.
Well,
and yes,
that's why I don't bowl certain lanes.
Andrew Clayson says it's one of the factors. I think you're right. It could be one of the factors, and there are, a lot of other, little weights on that scale. But if that's your biggest one, then I've got a problem with it. If it's a minor one, fine. But if that's the deciding reason, I kind of have an issue with that.
Okay. Well, so sounds like they had a great, maybe it's, again, I find it hilarious that usually every time ratings get updated and they come out, a lot of people, I went up, I went down, all those good things, because they are certainly a measure or a snapshot at least of how you've been doing recently, or which direction you're trending, all those types of things. I think they're great. Are they perfect? Of course not. Am I smart enough to come up with a better system? Absolutely not. So I think they're fine. That's my take on them. But there is a lot of people that say how much they hate them and how flawed they are, that A, don't have a better idea, and B, then say, well, I don't really care about them anyway. Well, clearly you do. Exactly. Clearly you do.
Yep.
So
we'll get off that subject.
Yeah, we can certainly move on from there. I think we're getting closer to our giveaway. All right, here it is, folks.
Oh, all right. So this is the rules quick. Well, you finish that. The rules for this giveaway are, I'm going to look at the board, the chat board, and the first correct answer I see on my board is the official correct answer. I don't care where you see it on yours. This is on YouTube only, so if you're watching on Facebook, please get into the YouTube chat, because that's the one that we pay most attention to right now.
Yes, so go out there and watch. That's where the answer you will, I think you need to be logged in. That would probably be smart. Be logged in and ready to type in the answer. I'll give you one clue before we get to it.
No.
Yeah, this is your clue. You will not be able to Google this. This is for the Smashies that were involved here tonight.
Good.
So you're not going to be able to Google it. It won't be who's the fastest to Google the answer. And the answer is not Starfire. That's always I'll just make very
get that out of the way.
Get that out of the way right away. Yeah, here it is from earlier tonight. It was talked about. What is the nickname that Dana Vichy gave Guy Boyan? What is the nickname that he gave Guy Boyan and referenced him as earlier in the show that Dana Vichy mentioned? So, first person to answer that correctly, that Johnny V and I see, will win a beautiful Alpha disc.
All right.
Paul Roberts wants to give a giveaway. Taco
It's
is
not Taco. That's what Robert McCall called him.
Yes, that is his kind of unofficial nickname. Taco is not it, as everyone's chiming in. There's a funny story behind all of that. Stud boy, squirt gun.
Andrew Clayson, that is one of the names he called him, but
a good guy. Yes, he is a good guy. We have not seen the answer yet. This is interesting.
Yep.
Who paid attention to Dana? I know I usually tune him out as well. Seems to be at a slight halt as they are coming. They're
going to come fast and furious. I know it.
Yes, they are.
So Andrew Clayson said rubber guy, but that's not the correct
Squirt
answer.
gun is close, but not it. Paul Roberts says, "Okay, I didn't win. I still need a SmashBox sticker." Well,
You're not. It's not over.
it's not over. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Until we get.
I remember, but I am already getting some mint
Oh.
plastic. Thank you, Disc Golf
Thanks,
Nerd,
GGN.
for being a gentleman here.
No, you don't get half a disc.
No,
So,
you do not.
Unless somehow you can agree with the winner to send you half a disc. But
That seems to be a little bit backwards. Come on, everyone. We've got more than 100 people
no.
taking place. And I love...
There it is.
Oh, hey-oh.
You see it?
Yes, there it is.
All right, perfect. Byron Vaughn, you nailed it. He called him Supergroup Guy.
Yes, he did.
Supergroup Guy.
And that was, in fact, a reference to the 2010 Vibram Open. Josh Anthon was not on the featured card as expected, and next thing you know, Guy was thrown into that position along with some of the other top players in the world, and from that point forward, Dana had referred to him as Supergroup Guy. So Supergroup Guy is the winner, and we appreciate it. Byron Vaughn, please reach out to us. Go to smashbox.tv/winners, WINNERS. Fill out the little form that's on there, and I will get that this disc mailed out to you sometime in the next couple of days.
I think a lot of people finally rewound it, listened to it, and they all just started
That's fine.
putting
That's fine.
So congratulations, Byron.
Byron got it. So congrats. Thank you to Guy and his partners over at Mint, and thanks for the giveaway, and we'll make sure to get this out as soon as we can. So, nice. And I think we're all caught up, believe it or not. If somehow you have been told or have won something through one of our Patreon giveaways and you haven't received it, let us know. Johnny V and I actually occasionally cross-reference spreadsheets.
I have a spreadsheet open right here.
And I have one, and I feel like I'm pretty well caught up. Yep. I think Will Miller, a guy we know over in Madison, is still in the queue for something. We're just planning to hand it off to him whenever we see him. And I believe there's a gentleman that lives a few minutes from me that's won something that him and I have not squared up, which I think would be easy to do so sooner than later. So other than that, I'm relatively squared up. Chase Hayden was our winner last week of the Patreon giveaway, and his item went out technically today. I printed the label, packaged it up, and then dropped it off at the mailbox today. So
fantastic.
So, thank you. And then we start off the after show, which won't be too long from now. That's when we'll go into our Patreon supporters. If you're supporting us in any capacity on patreon.com/SmashBoxxTV, that's how you make yourself eligible for a weekly giveaway. And we're going to be giving away some sweet stuff that I got at the GBO earlier, including this Gears and Bones, taking comic book action and amazing graphics to another level. Looks like a beautiful disc here that was some of these. There was a whole series of them available at the Glass Blown, so we'll get that out.
These are all Dimax.
Ronald Harkey, I believe your GBO disc went out. Maybe not. We'll talk about that. Gross. I don't know what Dan Harbeck is saying. Gross. Dan, don't you have some poker hands to study or something? I don't know how you do that, but. I don't know if we have anything else to cover here in the actual show.
I don't think so.
It's been a pretty crazy night. We had a couple great guests that joined us and got lots of good information, I feel like. Steve Osmond, good night. Guy doesn't win something, so he goes home. Jeez, Steve. We'll miss you, buddy. Thanks for tuning in here tonight. I think we covered a lot of the basics that were out there.
What did we learn tonight?
What did we learn? We learned a lot about mint discs.
We did learn a lot about mint discs. They're pretty open as far as everything they're talking about. other than one or two little things.
Major things.
Yeah.
No, but we did learn a lot of good info from them.
We learned that Miles is the best person you can go to if you're looking to order any sort of T-shirts or any sort of paraphernalia as far as disc golf or anything. T-shirts, or I think my wife ordered some through him a couple of years ago for some run walk or something they were doing.
Yes.
So use Miles. So, and we learned a little bit about the convict, the Paige Pierce convict.
Thanks to Disc Golf Nerd. All right, we are going to cut out the regular show here, cut out of it. We're going to come back in a few minutes with the after show, so make sure you stick around. If you're a Patreon supporter at the $2 or more level, I believe your name may magically appear in our credits. So there's your visual shout out. We appreciate it as well to everyone there. And in the after show, we're going to ramble on about some other things, including this weekend's tournament that I'll be hosting, along with any odds and ends. Of course, during our after show, we get even more interactive. So please go out to YouTube, send us some messages, and ask us any questions that you might have. Or maybe there's other subjects, controversial or otherwise, that we could possibly bring up and talk about. So for our amazing contributors and guests tonight, Dana Vichy, along with Guy Boyan of Mint Disc, and Miles Parkhill from Paragon and Disc Golf Nerd with his review for Johnny V, and myself, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy. That's podcast 143. Stick around for the after show and step inside the Smashbox.
Thank you to our $2 and above patrons. Your name is listed below in the video credits. If you're interested in being listed as a producer on SmashBoxxTV's podcast, please visit patreon.com/SmashBoxxTV.
Quick question on the board, ladies and gentlemen. SmashBoxxTV after show. Is it the after show mofo or mofo after show? These are serious questions.
I'm going with mofo after show.
Mofo after show, folks.
Mofo after show.
Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, along with Johnny V here from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Just wrapped up our regular podcast, number 143. We are glad you could join us here. We're going to get a little bit loose. We are here in our after show. I think we need like an official disclaimer that I can repetitively say every week. I usually say something along the lines.
Normally, it gets a little looser. The language lightens up. But we started off the show with some four letter bombs.
I know. I feel bad. We've even been complimented on how professional we sometimes come across.
If only they knew.
And I don't like to go there, but sometimes I get a little worked up, and one or two things might slip out.
I think twice a year we're good with that. I think if we kept it to about twice a year, where we.
And you're rarely, even if there is a slip on a expletive, it's usually one of the lesser offenses.
Yeah.
I mean, you're usually not hearing us.
No.
None of the seven.
Yeah, 7 things you can't say on television.
Yeah, none of those, for instance. So, welcome everyone again. Mofo after show. We're glad to be here. Thank you guys so much. I've been meaning to ask, and maybe this is an old or silly question, but elevated greens on our board. Is that a direct play on Johnny V not liking elevated baskets for some of the rants that have taken place, or is there another meaning? And if there is, maybe I shouldn't know it.
I like elevated greens, just not the baskets.
Okay. The cuss jar was full 3.5 minutes in tonight. Well, if 2 cusses makes it full, then you're right.
There was a few more than that.
No, I think there was only 2.
There was a few.
I thought you had one. Maybe I had one.
I think
Anyway,
More
yes, we need the disclaimers at 3 times the speed. No, I just think we need an official opening for describing exactly what the after show is, but something that's consistent that I say every single time. But yeah, usually it's along the lines, a little looser. Any subject, for the most part, can be on the table, and we'd love to interact more frequently with everyone that comes in off of the YouTube board. Random questions, and sometimes our topics get into other sports that neither of us usually know too much about, or sometimes picks for books or movies or TV series. Did I see you just the other night? You made a recommendation via the Facebook.
I did.
When you speak, we all listen.
As you should.
What was the recommendation? And the most important question always is, will I like it?
You may like it. So the other night we watched. What did we watch? We were watching a movie with the kids. Kids went to bed. We watched Spaceballs with the kids for the first time. Kind of forgot how much profanity is in that one.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, I knew there was a little bit, but then Sarah and I looked at each other after the first half hour, and we're like, maybe not appropriate for a 7-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he laughed at some of the dumb jokes, jamming the radar, all that other good classic stuff. But he's a good kid, and I'm not too worried about it. So nothing I don't hear you screaming over the phone around your kids.
Certainly.
And then they went to bed, and I was looking, and I'd heard about a movie called Sing Street, S-I-N-G, Sing Street. It's on Netflix, so feel free to just go and watch it. It's a movie about basically a boy in the mid '80s in Ireland who starts up a band, and I thought it was funny. It was if you enjoyed any music from the '80s, kind of I'll go towards Depeche Mode type music, you'll probably love it. If you're a music lover at all, you'll probably love it. But if you recall a lot of that music, you're a little bit of David Bowie, kind of that type of music, and how his band evolves going through songs. And just today, I pulled up on Spotify the soundtrack to listen to it because it was that good. It was really catchy, and I mean, clearly the boy created a band to try to get the girl, and watch a movie and see what happens. But it's just a all-around really good movie, so I highly recommend it. If you get a chance, just watch Sing Street. It comes with your Netflix account. You don't have to pay anything for it, anything goofy like that. So
it comes with your Netflix account.
Yeah, so
you're
already
I know
you're already paying for Netflix,
of course.
So.
But you say it with the assumption like, well, everyone has Netflix.
Everyone should have Netflix.
I do, and I agree.
I own some Netflix stock, so you should all get
yes,
Netflix.
You definitely should.
So
it's funny that you say that, and you say Sing Street, and that brings me back to a lovely time where I had a little bit of time and had to take in the culture that I could in one of my random jaunts or quick visits in New York, where I was able to take in Avenue Q. And
I really want to see that.
Highly recommend it.
Yep.
It was, I'll admit, it just kind of
profane Muppets.
Yeah, puts a smile on my face
Yeah.
again just thinking about it. I don't even remember what year that was, but very, very funny. Off Broadway, just a really hilarious. The Tony Award-winning musical that is part flesh, part felt, and packed with heart. It was hilarious. It definitely was. So I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah, the Elevated Greens when Dark Helmet was talking about being surrounded by assholes. I'm a kid, and they say it like 12 times, and I'm just there going, oh no, like, oh well. Like, I'm sure he hears worse and this and that. Not from me, thankfully, because we're pretty good around the kids, but it is pretty funny. So, yeah, that, and I went to go see Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which was very, very good. You would not like it. But
really?
I mean, maybe you would because it's funny. Like, it's not too much superhero-y.
Is it better than 1? Because I saw people saying that, and that's rare that happens.
It's funnier than 1.
Okay.
I don't think it's necessarily a better movie.
Would I like 1? And do I have to see 2 to like 1?
No, you don't have to see 2 to like 1. You can kind of get the gist of what's going on.
Okay.
But I love them both. They're both really good. 2 was, this will be spoiler free, don't worry. 2 was It was much funnier, but it was funnier because they went for the jokes more often. One was funny because it was just funny. You're like, oh, that's funny. You're not used to seeing this type of stuff in Marvel movies and this and that. You could tell that they really went for some jokes, and they did it very frequently. So, but I laughed. I mean, stupid jokes that I find funny, and good jokes that were just, you know, kind of hit you in the right spot, and it was really good. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
One of the things that I experienced, I had some time actually home this weekend, which is rare in itself, but took my 8 and 6-year-old girls out for disc golf, which was funny to walk onto a course. They each had a single disc, and I didn't even bring a disc. I wanted to.
What did they throw?
Gosh, one of them was from a family-friendly function that I performed in 2008. Honestly, I didn't even look at the bottom of it. I know it was a shallow mid-range. I don't remember if it was a Stratus or a Cobra or a Stingray or something of that nature.
Okay.
And one was that, and the other one, only because I didn't want to go digging around for anything else, I had handy it was a brand new, so I feel silly because I have hundreds, thousands of used discs, but I handed my other daughter a Star Dart, which I knew would be beginner friendly, but it was dumb of me to sacrifice a brand new Star disc when I have hundreds or thousands of used ones that could have done the job. But so that's what they used. And after this great 9 holes of playing golf, which again was really weird that I didn't even bring my own. Honestly, I didn't feel like it. I was fine with taking some pictures of them playing and a little bit of video. And we got home and again pulled up Netflix or Hulu or one of those, and they were going through all these movies, and they've seen, you know, a bunch of these movies a bunch of times. And we can only watch so much iCarly or whatever else is out there. And I said, I really sold it on them. I said, what about the Wonder Years? And of course they had no idea what I was talking about. Of
course.
Pull up season 1, episode 1, and get to it. And I feel like they were hooked. And you think about all the feelings that come back with the Wonder Years. I mean, that was right in our wheelhouse.
Oh God! I mean, I think
Kevin is our age.
Kevin is our age. It was in a different time period.
Yeah, and
I would almost think that they're just a hair young for it. Like you're
Correct.
looking maybe 2 more years, because Allie's 8 and I think Kevin was 10 or 12, maybe 12 when.
Yeah, something like that. He was just entering 7th grade. So yeah.
Okay.
12-ish.
So, but
yeah, so it was.
He was just entering 7th grade.
I want to say, well, yeah, he was just like leaving elementary, going fresh into junior high, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe it was 8th or 9th grade. I don't even now recall.
Yeah, but
anyway, so it was funny. They obviously got into it. You know, it's set in 1968. The first year is set in 1968. And it brought back a lot of memories. I mean, obviously, you think of the all too obvious, you know, Winnie Cooper is probably the number one memory, male or female. It's just that was so much of the show. But we, you know, sat on the couch and I think we ended up watching 2 or 3 episodes. It was awesome.
Some wholesome entertainment.
It
Terry.
was, but I'm, you know, obviously there's war conversation.
Yeah.
And there's
you get the Vietnam War and
you
stuff
know,
like
a few
that.
of the other things, and then one of the internal struggles was the talk about sex and you know, puberty and all this other stuff, and I was like,
Terry's like, I don't want to have this conversation. Where's Melissa?
No, I was just thinking in general, like, you know, my 6-year-old already says inappropriate things that she doesn't always know what she's talking about. So anyway, it was fun. And to answer one of the questions on the board, I then I think it was 2 days later. I feel like that was Friday night. Sunday, my 6-year-old wanted to hang out with a friend, and we went and picked her up. And then my 6-year-old, her friend, who's 6, and then my 8-year-old, we all went back out to the course and played the same 9 holes out of 27 that are out at Dretska Park. And I literally dug into a bin in storage, and one of the very first bins had 3 lightweight diamonds. And I'm like, again, I could search around for tons of used discs, but these all were like 130 something.
Perfect.
Super tiny rims. I'm like, perfect. Let's see how these work. I recommend hand out lots of diamonds to a lot of people that, you know, are in need of a disc of that nature. I didn't want to dig any further, and I was like, here, you each have a different diamond. And we went out and they all used those. Those seem to be work really well for them.
How is she ever going to be a distance champion if you don't get a boss in her hand?
I don't know, or a Jen Allen Star Wraith. I don't know.
Maybe a Firebird. Get a Firebird in her hand.
Sexton Firebirds are.
I mean, that's
next.
really
Or a EMAC Truth and a Ricky something or other. Yeah. Well, they'll get there.
No, I'm just kidding.
Lots of fun. Hope you guys. And then I posted a couple of the pictures. So it was a really good time out there.
How are they doing? There, you said they're enjoying it.
Oh my gosh! So part of the, I don't want to say sales pitch, but I've talked, and like lots of us that have become parents. There's a fine line of introducing them to it, but not pushing it on them and whatever. And of course, I'm in that same boat. I'd love to see more women playing, including my 2 girls. And at one point, I had proposed the idea to my 8-year-old, as I'm going to cover the Rocky Mountain Women's Championships in Colorado later this year in the beginning of July, which I'm super looking forward to. And I know one of the things that they do for that event is that they offer, this year it's going to be 3 days spanning, 3 rounds over 3 days at this gorgeous park, Purple Park, which is temporary just for the event. And the juniors, the youngest of the young juniors, play 1 round Saturday and they're done. And I just thought, wow, what a great way to introduce my daughter to an event or to the tournament scene, is to go to have a little bit of a trip, actually go somewhere, fly and hotel, the whole 9 yards.
Kind of show her what Daddy does.
Yeah, show her what I do, but it's going to be short-lived because she's getting a camera. I'm handing her my DSLR, which last year, as we were out doing,
put her to work.
Yes, you got it. She's gonna earn that flight. Damn it. So last year, when a local friend was being featured in the news, I was doing some film work, and I handed my then 7-year-old my DSLR, and she's just clicking the button. I mean, put it on auto, which is about what I use. Put it on sports mode, and she was having a blast with it. It weighed as much as she did, I think, but she was having a blast with it. And so I said that it's kind of this whole, plan is I'll film the women on Friday, the pro women on Friday. Saturday morning, she'll play her round. I'll caddy for her. I'll film it, whatever. She'll play her 1 round, and then by the afternoon, I'll go back out for another round, film the pro women. And then on, any of those 3 days, I'll also then hand her my DSLR. She'll walk along with me, and hopefully she snaps a few photos.
Yeah.
And so she'll be taking photos. I'll be doing video, and
I think that's a great idea.
I'm really, really looking forward to it all. So that's kind of a long-winded explanation there, but that's what's going to be happening. And naturally, I'm gone a lot. And so more often, they're at home. They're in a little bit more, I don't want to say a bubble, but they're at home and don't go to a lot of these crazy experiences. So getting my oldest out to go experience, like you said, what I do, and be on the road and have a dad-daughter only trip should be kind of fun and unique. So that's kind of the plan.
Pretty cool.
Elevated Green says, Terry, it would be cool to see your daughter lead a mini interview with some of the top female players at that tourney. I'll say this.
No, I'll say this. I think she could.
She could.
There are, like, I look at the difference between your daughter and my son, and they're about 9 months apart. Your daughter's 9 months older. The communication skills that your daughter has, she gets directly from you. And, like, I would ask my son, like, could you interview that person? And he'd just be like, I don't know, whatever. No, I don't know. No, yeah, whatever. Now he could sit and talk Eagle's ear off for months about Pokemon.
Sure.
And that would go over well. But other than that, I don't see that happening. But Allison could very easily, with just a little bit of direction, I think she could do a fine job.
That's a really solid suggestion, and I'm sure I'll try to work her into more things, because she'll have a genuine interest, and she is a very kind, she does not get this from me, she's a very kind and compassionate little 8-year-old that is very patient and understanding, and she's got a very gentle heart. So yeah, there are a few things that I think she could certainly excel at, but excited to hand her a camera, excited to go out and watch a round of golf. caddy for and play with her. Of course, I'm going to do all my best to help her along without being overbearing, all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
And,
come on. No, be that dad.
that guy.
Just
Damn
yell.
it, you missed from 8 feet. You're not eating tonight. I've seen
Come
a few
on.
of those dads on the course. I'm not going to name
No.
any names today.
I was
but
gonna say,
I've seen plenty of those dads.
I've never seen a dad like that to his kid. I've seen dads on the course. I've seen dads like that to the other people around. Like get like up in arms with the other parents that are there, or almost towards the other kids. But I've never actually seen it towards his like, I don't have anyone in particular in mind, but towards their own child. Like usually it's kind of like,
I have.
Have you?
Yeah, yeah. We have a particular person or two that I think a lot of people know.
Yeah.
That very much has felt the wrath of their father figure when they didn't perform to their expectations, to their parental expectations, and that's harsh to watch.
Yeah.
It makes me feel uncomfortable, and I'm not. I don't feel like I get uncomfortable easily, and that's one thing that does is when there's a parent scolding or scoffing at a child for not executing perfectly on the course. That's brutal to watch.
I would step in. That would be my problem.
It's
I
very
would have
brutal
I would
to
have a hard
watch.
time not stepping in.
So,
All right, let's do a giveaway here. Let's do a Patreon giveaway.
What?
We are giving away that full color Dimax disc, the GBO with the comic artwork on it from Gears and Bones.
yes, and I apologize profusely that I do not have the card with me of the gentleman that did this. We'll certainly get it posted. He had asked if I could do the giveaway on the show. Here's script, colors, art, and publisher. And unfortunately, I forget the gentleman's name who had handed this to me. But this was at the Glass Blown Open. He was in the at the Fly Mart, and he had sold a ton of this stuff. It looked like it was moving very quickly. And then he said, "Hey, can I do a giveaway?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we can do a giveaway." So, but here it is, Gears and Bones. I'm going to send out, it's going to be a little more challenging, but I'll send you the comic book that, along with the artwork on this beautiful disc. This is a Sheriff, for those interested, with a sweet Dimax full design on it. So a Sheriff along with the book, Gears and Bones. So, Johnny's going to pull up random.org.
Sorted from A to Z, 142.
142, and excuse me, if you become the lucky winner and recipient, what we'll do is we will reach out to you, we'll send you an email, confirm a mailing address, and then I will get this shipped out probably next Tuesday when I remember. That's what I always be like, oh yeah, I never shipped it out, darn it, Tuesday. But we'll try and get it out as soon as possible, actually.
All right, between 101 and 142, I hit generate. We've got number 102. And
the scrolling begins.
I don't know if we should give this to him.
Oh, that guy.
It's Robert McCall.
Robert McCall, is he still on the board?
He was on the board earlier tonight.
He was.
Here's what we'll do, and I hope he wants it. I don't know if now Robert McCall is a DD employee. That doesn't not disqualify him by any means. He's also a great supporter of Smashbox and does phenomenal commentary, the best in the business, I say.
Way better than me. I agree.
We'll reach out and see if Robert is still interested in this. If he's not, and he tells us to keep it, we'll give it away again. We'll re-gift it. But other than that,
it's a cool disc.
It's
and it's not like he has access to just grabbing these when he wants.
No, he doesn't. So hopefully,
if he legitimately won it, there's no reason for him not to take it.
Not to. I think he should take it. So Robert, if you hear this, I think you should take it.
But if you choose to throw it back in the pool, then so be it. But I would keep it if I were you.
Me too, because I think it looks pretty cool.
It definitely does.
So I wish it was a fix. I really do. If it was 101, it would have been Rob Jarrett. If it was 103, it would have been Robert McGrath. So, but it's Robert McCall.
Robert McCall. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's humorous. But thank you, Robert, for being a supporter. Obviously, we love you all around.
Your money is just as good as everyone else's.
That's
what you're politely trying to say.
Cash is the same.
It is, and we thank you very much What did Disc Golf Answer Man talk about recently? Did I see a possible new format, or the fact that they're basically including video?
So I know Disc Golf Answer Man, they're doing little clips of video from the podcast and putting it out. Someone asked if he's going to do live, and he absolutely said no. And which that's fine, because as Bobby says, there's so much more to go wrong in live. You can't just pause live and go do something else and come back. And so they're also doing, they added a new, I was thinking this today, and I'm disappointed because you and I have talked about this in the past, about doing like a fitness segment.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what they're doing. They've got Disc Golf Strong doing a quick 2 to 3 minute clip, I believe. I think it just debuted this week. I haven't actually listened to this week's podcast, if it's out yet. I'm not sure. I do listen to pretty much all of them. So, and now I kind of feel like, well, now I don't want to do a fitness segment. If they're doing one, and Disc Golf Strong's a perfect person to do it and whatnot, and look at physical fitness and stretching and all that other stuff. So I kind of feel like, you and I had reached out to a couple different females about doing it, and we'll leave their names out.
And it could still happen. And I think having a different perspective,
it could,
and coming from females, which is also going to, of course, then just inherently going to have a slightly different perspective. I think, I mean, not every idea is unique and original, or however you want to look at it. Whoever's just first to implement or execute it.
No, and they obviously, like I said, I brought this up with you 2 months ago, 3 months ago, whatever, and you're talking about whomever we were talking with, and then they go ahead and do that. And it's funny because Bobby has talked to me about us doing the same thing to him. Other podcasts, jump on, and when you have this many, there's only so many pools of ideas and thoughts, good thoughts that people are going to do, that they eventually will mostly get plucked. So it is, so that's what they're doing.
And I'm sorry, because I can't for sure read it. If it's Jerry Maku, writes on her board, "Hello, Smashbox. I'm on my way to Kona Piste Open, watching on the train."
Oh,
so,
that's fantastic.
Hello, shout out, hi.
Good luck. Have
travel
fun.
Safely.
Yeah, stay dry. Hopefully it,
Awesome. Very cool.
Hopefully you play in weather that is not bad. So congratulations. That's one of the, Dana had mentioned this too, that it looks like one of those bucket list courses, because it just looks beautiful. The scenery, the castle, all that good stuff. And it's a great course on top of that. But I would really like to get out there. I would. I'd love to get to Europe in general because I haven't been. So
somebody should just send you there.
They should.
I wish I could send you there.
If we get Patreon up to yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you went. So
I'm seeing a lot of people right now. Actually, as I check the emails, some people are signing up for the still for the Greater Milwaukee Open that I'm going to be hosting this weekend. I know that's kind of a late plug probably, but that's happening, as long as I'm also seeing people signing up for the Swinging Bridge Open. And I think I have a real problem with this email. Apparently, I owe Miles Parkhill over at Paragon Disc Golf, I owe him money, and he's requesting money. Send that right back to him with a screenshot of him on our show and say, "Eat that." No, I won't. But yes, it looks like I owe Miles money from one of my great T-shirt orders. I'll take care of that.
Ronald Harkey says that he saw that the Disc Golf Strong has been going on for like a month, but I saw video clips, but I don't recall the audio.
Is it? I think it's Seth. Is his name? And he was in the room next to me at the Glass Blown Open.
Yeah.
And we had a quick talk, and I think we're going to continue to talk about stuff and ways that he could possibly be integrated, if it's our live broadcast or otherwise, maybe segments, or there's different things that I think could be done there as well that could be really unique and interesting. So, yeah, I think he was literally in the room next door to me at the Glass Blown Open.
That's awesome.
And Ronald, I know you sent me a message. If I did not send out your disc, I'll take a look on my nifty little spreadsheet. I feel like I sent you one recently. I know I talked about it. So if I didn't, I will. No, I'm almost positive that I did. I'll get it figured out for you.
Yes. What else? I saw Guardians of the Galaxy. I saw Sing Street. Keeping Up with American Gods. It's still good. There was this this episode. It's on Stars, which is basically an HBO.
That sounds like such a porn name.
Stars.
Well, here's why.
Which is funny though, because what I'm about to say, this episode of American Gods had more phalluses, I'll put it the nice way, than I care to see. There was at least
What's your threshold?
0 really that I care to see. I don't mind. I think it's as I'm watching this show and they're showing a bunch of male nudity. I just kept thinking, I'm like, I have such a double standard, clearly,
course.
as I should. I'm personally a straight male, and it's it's a funny face, Tara. And I just think like, I don't want to see
Breaking
that.
news here.
Like, I don't want to
Smashbox exclusive. Johnny V's.
I don't want to see that. But then I think, I get to see, when we watch movies and stuff, you get to see that from the other side quite a bit. And I'm just thinking like, there's such a double standard there. But it's such a good series so far. It's a very good series. I'm looking forward to week by week watching it. I can't just binge it, so it's kind of strange having to actually wait every week. And most things I just wait, and then binge. This one I can't. I just started and I'm not going to stop.
Well, and here's exactly why. I said what I said a few minutes ago. When I think of it, it just seems so porno related, and maybe that's because subconsciously I immediately associate where you and I are from, the Fox Cities, Appleton area, which is about 2 hours north of where we currently live. When you take the main road from where we used to live and we grew up down to where we live now, you always go past a place that's called Stars Cabaret. So maybe when I think of Stars, especially spelled with a Z, and I honestly, I thought this Stars was spelled that way. So there's your free plug, Stars Cabaret. They're spelled with, regular STARS. But you drive past that, and maybe that's why as soon as I think of the channel or it's a channel. It's just a channel, right? It's not a service or a provider. I mean, it's a channel. It's its own channel.
It's its own channel, but you can subscribe to it through Amazon as well.
Okay.
It's like an HBO.
Maybe that's why I just always associate. But it's Wisconsin's premier gentleman's club, which I feel like they all say.
Yeah. Yes, I'm sure they do.
Service is offered by Stars. Anyway. All right, so that's where possibly I get my affiliation, and
I didn't. Even, the funny thing is, I know we grew up there. I didn't even know that
it hasn't always been there, and it's funny because it also used to be right near or next door to a go-kart track, and it used to be something else. It hasn't always been that.
Okay. And
in the last, I'll say 10 years or so, it's been that, and again, only when we drive by to go from one city to another. Anyway. Some commentary on the board. Andrew says the guy on Smashbox.
Yes, with 3 X's. Or no, that's a different one.
Oh, did we see the intermediate disc golfer video? That could have been talked about earlier, and any time is a good time. But yes, very, very funny. So,
and I saw I didn't watch it. I saw it come up on a couple feeds, and I just burned through it, and I was like, I don't have time.
Here's how I think I worded it, and fair or not. I feel like it's I don't want to say better produced. Yeah, that's a fair word. It is a more well-produced, more well-polished Lamar Mon parody on...
It's a parody.
Yeah, it's a parody.
I assumed as much.
And it's funny.
Okay.
I'll say that it's funny. Yeah, go out and watch it. It's very well assembled. That I can certainly appreciate that. And again, rewind 5 or 10 years ago, and I wouldn't have thought twice about it. But now knowing what it takes to make a good looking video, so I've learned or heard from other people. But yeah, it's a better produced Lamar kind of humor and concept.
Lamar?
He's done some of the how-to videos that are out there. You'd have to go. I think he then became the creator of Vanish Disc Golf, but he's created some how-to videos.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I've seen that.
Yeah,
all right.
exactly.
I have seen those.
So I'd be curious to know what you guys think. Is that a good assessment as how I've described it? Is a more polished and better produced kind of version of what he does? That's how I would do it, or describe it.
Okay. I think I get the point now.
Mike Mack says, love the Lamar videos. Yes, they're all certainly funny.
Yeah, once you said the how-tos, then it hit me who it was. It didn't.
Yeah, or putting tips or whatever some of his other videos have been. Exactly. Wow, I think we can almost put a
bow on it.
Yeah. I don't have too much. I'm feeling a weird chest pain, so I'm going to run upstairs and get a drink of water. Yeah, I just have a weird pain.
If he doesn't come back for some,
get my plastic.
I'm gonna take his plastic. I've thought about that. It's morbid for me to say, but I always thought if Terry kicks the bucket, that's a lot of plastic, and I'd probably sell it and give his wife the things. But I know I'd cherry pick some stuff. He's got some really good stuff there in his storage. But that's what friends do, right? You gotta look out for each other. So, who wins this weekend? I'm gonna say I'm gonna go Ricky. I think same reason I went with Ricky before. In the rain, I think he wants to prove himself. So I'm gonna go with Raincoat Ricky winning this weekend. Let's see here. Kids College Fund, yeah. Definitely. Switch seats. I don't want to sit in his warm seat. For those of you on the audio, Terry got up to go upstairs and grab a drink of water. Skip Ace picks. This isn't actually a pretty easy one because the FPO has such a... the top players have a lower rating, so you can pick pretty much who you want out there. It's not really that exciting of a pick this week. So, I mean, I think Simon, Sexton, Paul, Ricky, and then the 2 FPO players. I think I haven't done my picks yet. I know I put a note out there for everyone to do them. I'll be doing mine probably tomorrow. So, Disc Golf Nerd, we did talk about Cubby a little bit earlier today, or earlier in the show, which has been almost yesterday now. Things are looking up from what I understand. I don't think he's out of the woods yet, but there's definitely some signs of positivity there.
Yeah,
So-
I'll real quickly read through. I know I kind of touched on it earlier. Again, it looks like I believe it's his daughter, Jennifer, had posted. I'm going to kind of paraphrase, run through. Her dad is showing signs of life. He's talking, as she was talking to the nurse, questioning the meaning and the significance of him opening his eyes and blinking his eyes upon request for us. She tells me it could be just reflexes, blah, 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 something else. And then, bam, all of a sudden, both of his eyes shot wide open, then started blinking more frequently as I talked to him, and her reassuring me, saying it's because he can hear me. So proof to me that he has now been given a chance to fight, and that's all my dad needs. And with the enormous amount of support and love from his loved ones, he will recover and recuperate and continue to spread love, happiness, and joy to everyone that comes in contact with it on a daily basis. So that was kind of the update that I kind of touched on a little bit earlier. So, yeah, certainly, Cubby, we wish you the best. Everyone in the disc golf community is pulling for a quick, speedy, and healthy recovery. So,
Elevated Greens asks, when is Nate going to be considered in that top tier with Paul and Ricky? A, when he wins a world championship, and B, when he starts beating them. There's Paul and Ricky, and then there's everybody else. And if you want to go another tier below that, that's where you put Nate and Simon in that tier.
and Eagle.
Almost. I think, like, he's right on that border, Eagle. Like,
Sure.
he should be in that second tier, but every once in a while he just has that dip where he kind of falls off. But I mean, he's right there. He has all the skills. There's no doubt about it. I think he can, he could easily, if he won this week, it wouldn't surprise me. Like I'd be like,
No,
I mean,
certainly not.
I'd be a little surprised that Paul or Ricky didn't win, but I wouldn't be shocked.
No.
Like my jaw wouldn't hit the floor. We wouldn't be, screaming like, "Oh my God, look who won!" No, but I just think he's not quite there. And Sexton has proven that he is a top 5 finisher almost every time. He's just so consistent. He's not flashy. He doesn't have a huge crushing arm. He is just so consistent, and he's got such a really good putt from inside of 40 feet. Like I don't see. The funny thing is, like, if there's a weakness in Sexton's game, I think it's his long putts. When he's 50 to 60 out,
He's just not as deadly.
He's not as deadly. I don't have the confidence. Like when you watch Simon, Paul, Ricky, and Eagle walk up to like a 50 or 60 footer, you're thinking they're going to give this a chance, a good chance. When Nate walks up to one of those, I think he's going to give it a chance, but he's not going to risk it. He's not going to make a mistake and blow past it. Whereas if for some reason Ricky did, he could blow past it. Ricky doesn't miss though. I think that's maybe one of the few weaknesses in Sexton's game is just his long putting. And he doesn't have the distance everybody else, those other guys do, but he has enough distance. So
let's see if your babbling can get backed up. I'm just kidding. What I'm going to do is funny. We even have this opportunity. I'm going to go to udisclive.com, and just for giggles, we'll take a look. And now I don't know just how. See, this is comprehensive of 2017 tour, and then I think I can backtrack to 2016. So I'll do that in a moment. But 2017 tour, we now have, and I'm not a stats guy at all, but I just thought, hey, it's kind of clever. We have this stuff. If you look at circle two putts. What? I'm confused.
Look at 2016.
Circle two putts, 10 to 20 putts made. He's got 12, which ranks first.
His percentage.
His percentage is 46%.
Mm-hmm. Now
meaning he's made 12 putts between 10 and 20 meters. How is he the top ranked?
Well, okay, let's just out of curiosity look at Ricky once. I mean, there's only been 2 events.
Well, no. There's been more than 2, but Nate's only been to 2.
Yeah, Nate's only been to 2. That's what I'm saying. Well,
okay, where Ricky's been to 4, Disc Golf Pro Tour, and Ricky has made 42, but he's 30. He's 4th in that category, and his percentage.
So wait a minute. So Sexton has made 13. He's at 46%, which puts him in first. Ricky has made 42.
Let me see this.
Puts him at 30%.
No. Correction. He's made 18.
He's made 18. Okay.
18 out of 60. Is that how I'm reading this? Yeah, he's made 18. Wow, these graphics are crazy.
I've said I know, and that's what I've said is that Nate.
He just makes a lot of 34 footers.
He does. He's so good inside of 40 feet. But that's when I said you get to 50 and 60 feet, and I don't feel like he has that deadliness that those other guys do. And unfortunately, I'm not asking them to break it down more because we only have circle 1, circle 2. Circle 2 is there's a good amount of distance there. Obviously, there's 30 feet to play with, and that's an important 30 feet. The close 30 feet versus far 30 feet is way different. And just we'll say, just eyeballing it is kind of how I get that feeling.
Last year, wow. Again, Ricky Wysocki, he attended, I believe, all the Pro Tour stops. He was 10th in Circle 2 putting. That's a stat that seriously.
Can you click on Circle 2 putting and see where everyone ranks underneath of it? Down, up. Like the actual word.
Nope.
Okay.
Not able to do that. But wow, it's just cool. There's graphics how they pop out like they do.
Yeah. You'd know if you used it more often during the broadcast.
Looks fancy. So yeah, he, however, was ranked 10th, making 32%. He made 31 and missed 65.
Yeah, and Elevated Green says, do you think his straddle putt limits his distance? Yes, I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
But I think also the style in which he putts, he's more of a don't email me. He's more of a loft putter. He doesn't have a lot of power behind his putts. He gets them as far as he needs them, but he's not, like I said, he's not the type that if he misses, he's going to go past 15 feet. If he misses, as long as he doesn't hit the basket and roll out of bounds, he's going to be within 8 feet of the basket. That's how he putts.
Oh.
Usually when he misses, it's front basket. He doesn't usually miss too far.
There's a stat, front basket versus... No, I'm just kidding. That'd be awesome.
That's what I've seen when I've watched Sexton on the lead card, is that I'm not super confident in him hitting 50 and 60 footers like I am Paul and Ricky, but if that thing is inside of 40, I'm counting it. That's just the way it is. I count it. I just think, okay, he's done it again. He's put himself there. He drove. He got himself where he needs to be, and he's putting it in. Whereas it seems like Ricky and Paul are throwing it farther and hitting longer putts. So that's why they're the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Elevate Green says. He usually squeaks him right over the basket. Yep, and when he misses, he hits the front basket. So.
Very. Again, UDisc Live has some great stats that go back to last year, that talk about this year, and you can break it down and take a look at all those different things. I'm still blown away that Ricky is 10th in Circle 2 putting.
Yeah.
That almost just doesn't even sound right. And I know the stats don't lie, but
the stats don't lie.
Like Shakira's hips. Shakira.
Wow.
I'm just saying. Something like that. Darn it. I had a really good random other side note or topic that I totally forgot about that was actually on point and legitimate. I don't remember what it was now. Yeah, I don't know what that was happening with my chest. I just got a chest pain. I felt a little twinge. I think this was like my fourth, maybe my fifth Rockstar today. And then like for some, I'm just kidding. It's my first Rockstar in like 3 or 4 days. I don't drink them too regularly. But that would have been funny if it was my fourth or fifth. I was probably that was probably going to go down. All right. Yes, you don't see as many long putts, although he is super solid. You know, people will tell you make everything inside Circle 1, and you're going to be cashing at every event you play in if you're making everything inside. And Justin says Rick can hit putts outside Circle 2. That's true. There is no one more deadly than Rick outside of Circle 2.
Yeah, 60 to 100 feet.
that Circle Rick, as we say.
Yep.
Yeah, that's where there's he kicks it up an extra notch, certainly. What type of Rockstar? Great question. I don't know if it's any smarter than any other one because they're all probably horrible and gonna kill you. But I drink the Pure Zero. I really love the I don't know, the cherry or punched flavor. I don't know if punched is I think the ones that are. So this has 0 calories. Probably a bunch of other stuff that's going to kill me. I understand that, but has 0 calories, so I'm not getting any bigger. The red ones are just have even more nasty stuff for you, but taste better. But I drink the 0 calorie ones. That kind of gives you kidney stones. That kind that gives you the kidney stones. I had kidney stones once, and I've sworn ever since then that I'll drink more water, and I always am not good about it. But lately, I've been drinking a ton of water.
Good
Yeah.
for you.
A ton.
I've been drinking less than I should lately. So.
Ooh, they have extra caffeine. Good. I'll for certainly die. You should recap the full-blown open real quick. I don't know if we should. Why? Is there any hidden meaning to that there, Danny?
I know nothing about
LaCroix is incredible. Unfortunately, I don't agree.
That's what Dana's for.
I wish I could like LaCroix, but I've tried it. That's a Miles Parkhill kind of thing. Edward says, I don't believe Nate Sexton has reached his full potential yet. The best is yet to come. That's quite possible.
Yeah.
He's getting older. The beard's getting bigger. He needs to shave the beard.
He needs to trim it up.
Shave it. Right. A cluster headache, MC Geisky says. Yeah, I don't drink these all too often. I hate that I even drink any, but one every few days I don't think is going to kill me. Or it could. Who knows?
Or I might.
Or Johnny V might. This weekend, there was a tournament that I'm going to be hosting, but there was something else that was going to be going on. Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
Yep.
You all have or had one, so be thankful for that.
Very true.
Some insight for you. So hopefully you guys all have a good Mother's Day out there. All right, guys. I think we can call it. What color are tennis balls? I feel like there's a joke there.
What color? They're neon green. Usually
chartreuse. Safety green.
Safety green, I would go with.
Or green, neon green.
Like a neon green.
green
I've seen orange ones as well, like a neon orange, but that's not typical.
I'm waiting for a punchline.
I know.
I guess is all. As I'm waiting for if there's going to be a punchline attached to that one. Maybe, maybe not. Gosh, there was something else legitimately worth talking about that I forgot as I went upstairs. Didn't die. Came back. I don't remember what it was. Doesn't matter.
We're done.
Oh, Danny, you won. Good job. Nice job on the win, buddy. Oh, I never noticed. There's our boy Rick. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been the after show as part of our weekly Smashbox TV podcast. Thank you guys for joining us and listening in as we kind of ramble on and on without any given direction tonight. For Johnny V and myself, Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, we'll see you next week. Smashbox podcast number 144 is in the works. We'll talk about Kona Piste. And whatever other events that took place, including the Greater Milwaukee Open and the Swinging Bridge Open. Thanks, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you to our $2 and above patrons. Your name is listed below in the video credits. If you're interested in being listed as a producer on Smashbox TV's podcast, please visit patreon.com/SmashboxTV. Thank you to our $2 and above